Anyway, is it?
Right. Okay, well, we are alive.
Hey, it's me. Anyway, is it?
Right. Okay, well,
You all know. You've all watched. Hey, it's me. Anyway, is it?
right. Okay, well.
You all know. You've all watched. Hey, I can hear my playback.
Oy vey.
Okay, wait a minute. And then I can do this. And do
Stab him in the
window
dick.
capture.
God damn it.
Let's see.
Where did those guns I just put in here go? Fuck. I need the 708.
Whoops.
That's what I'm trading in.
What'd you do, Angel?
I'm gonna leave fire team real quick.
Edit.
Go to
Yeah,
there.
what you heard earlier, Mars, was me shooting a bear. That's why you heard that bang bang.
Okay, well, I guess we're just not having. Boy. I guess we're just not having YouTube. Wait. Huh?
Huh?
I know you could figure it out, Angel.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying.
Huh?
Mars really liked that, apparently.
Apparently. I'm trying to. I'm trying to be able. I can't. You know what? Fuck it. We ain't gonna watch live chat. Cause you know why? Cause okay, we're going back in. Are we going into a gambit? We're going to a gambit.
Hold on. I gotta see about upgrading this gun here.
Wait, where did you go?
I told you I was going to Banshee!
In the tower?
Yes! Fuck, I need an enhancement core.
And you left me!
Oh my
Gina,
god.
calm down! I told you what I was doing and I was joining back up.
Anyway, we are live.
Good golly, or jolly o' molly.
You know you can swear, baby. I love you, but it's fine.
I didn't feel like swearing at the time.
Great googly muggly.
Great googly woogly, guys! Go get you!
Holy lightning rods, Batman.
What? Anyway, what were we trying? Why did I start this again?
Because I started talking about spreading the message.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's why.
Yeah.
Well,
Spreading the message about what?
About the religion of Islam.
Hey, yeah! Hey, bet you're a vision! Yeah!
But that it's more difficult to do so now because we're in a quote-unquote more tolerant society.
no. Oh yeah, talked about the literal 0 fucks given meter for everything is existent nowadays.
Right.
Because, you know, everybody's just like, oh, okay, so
Everybody's doing their own thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah,
I
I
wanna
mean...
do something fun!
Oh god, zombie alert! Alright, there we go. That's another one! Alright, take the spear to the hip. But, yeah, like, people definitely have to be open and ready to learn if they actually want to get some info about it. And
I wish to open and receive your gifts all over my face.
no.
Shower me with love! No.
Yeah, no.
Wait, I want to ascend to the next Guardian level. I want to feel special.
Why is my flashlight not working?
Wait, I want to
What-
jump
what
up
about your
there. Why
flashlight?
can't that jump? Oh, I jumped it.
Oh,
in
that's
there.
why. Because I took all my armor off.
That dude's
That's
all
why I didn't do it.
sparkly. What is this? Why is there a pink ball over here?
Did I not join you?
Oh, I kicked it! Ha!
What are you doing?
Kicking the pink ball. Wee, wee.
Join!
Join me.
Hey-ya. Hey-ya.
Yeah, if
Oh, no! Oh, thank God.
yeah, if you're gonna have any like convincing someone makes it sound like you really want to convert people like that.
Oh,
And
I lost.
To a certain degree, you do, but then also you don't want to force people. It's like a whole back and forth about it.
Are the archives
But like,
data set ever truly be?
stupid bird. Oh God. Oh God. Oh! I'm in trouble. Stop. God, stop.
Kick the ball. Kicked it. Kicked it.
No, don't kick it! No, no, did it! Stop it! I'm trying to do the thing! Stop it! No! Fuck.
That's what happens when you have when you shoot a gun off in
I
a
got
big
it
zombie area.
stuck. I got it stuck.
That's enough.
No, it's not enough. It got stuck, woman. Let me get it out. Can I get it out? Let me get it out. Oh. Wait, where are you at, babe?
Trying to join you so we can make them.
Oh, I'm over here kicking the ball around. It's fine. And it won't
Hey.
get respawned either because it's stuck. Boing, boing, boing.
Please wait, you are being connected with your fire team.
Boing, boing. Oh. He's cheering.
We've joined your fire team! Yay! All the fun and joy.
I found an ascendant charge.
Oh, oh, oh,
Whoa, whoa,
oh.
I'm dancing. Hi, Trev. I'm dancing. You gonna dance with me?
Pray for me. Ah! No, 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 stop.
Aww. He got little babies.
Reload, reload, reload. Oh my God, don't miss. Ah,
It sounds like you're having issues over there.
I'm bleeding. Ah. Oh no, there's another one.
Look at the babies, baby.
Oh no, there's even more.
Okay, let's go do a gambit.
God, it would help if I stopped missing. God damn it.
Oh, you got a pretty border now, baby.
Huh?
A pretty border tingy.
Pretty what? Pretty what?
Border tingy.
Butter thingy?
Border.
I know
At
you
least
can
that's
understand
what
my English at least that much.
You're not
speak English?
speaking English, Angel.
I said
You're
it's a pretty
speaking-
border tingy.
That's not English.
Yes, it is.
Border thingy?
Yes.
You agree with me, right, Morris?
I understand her now. I figured it out. It's all good.
Wow.
You can see,
It
why do you have to
took you
decode the message? God, fuck. Stop.
God fuck.
Even more zombies.
God damn, we should stop fucking me in the gosh.
Oh!
Did I
Alright.
not do what I wanted to do? Oh, I did do what I wanted to do. Yeah, I did it.
I was gonna say you better have because we ain't packing out now.
We ain't packing out. Fucker.
Yes, crowd.
Are we done now?
I don't know. Are we?
Better be.
Stop it.
That's a pretty blue.
'Cause I'm at 37 health right now. Out of a max of 182, I'm at 37 health.
I love how we were gonna do a podcast and we're still streaming and we're like just playing random games. It's fine.
I'm not gonna stop playing the game,
I mean, true. Neither am I.
and then I have to do things in this game,
Vex.
which include
Ball!
Just did that one.
almost dying to zombies.
Wait, how do I do my finisher again?
G.
That would be what? Oh.
Give me those moats, and I'll make you rich.
Yeah, it started off with I was fighting a zombie bear, and that's the big problem. And then I think like 10 more zombies
Oh,
started
I
coming out of
love
the woodwork.
this jump already.
Right, just don't pay attention to whatever I
I'm
was
paying
doing.
attention. I am paying attention.
Yeah. Well, am I going to be the only one who's speaking on the podcast in like the podcast fashion?
No, 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 no. Ah! Oh, I hit myself. Okay, that was okay. What happened?
The idea of the concept of trying to teach people about Islam or bringing them closer to Islam in some fashion is reinforced by the idea of something that they call Sadaqah Jariyah. And so Sadaqah Jariyah in Arabic is basically a charity, or not necessarily that either, but like it's something about you performing acts of good that will perpetuate for an uncertain amount of time. And what this does is that even after you die, you continue to get reward from these deeds that you've done. So they try to kind of push that in your mind. You know, if you can get someone to kind of, what's the right word? But if you can have someone get closer to Islam or the truth or whatever you want to call it, then that is beneficial for you in the future because of rewards down the line, that kind of thing.
Wow, I died. Yeah. I only had one mode on me, it's fine. I'm not. Oh, hey, there's a high value target in my face.
Portal's up. Go take them out.
How about I don't want to do that.
Hostiles incoming at the base.
Okay. Ah, mama!
Your allies invading.
You see what I mean?
Sorry. No, I know, but I'm just trying to not die at the moment.
I got you.
Hey, you're losing moats. Ice the blockers.
Alright.
I got a bird on my ass.
Yeah, I don't like Night Stalker very much.
Your invaders back with 3 guardians down. Glad they're on your side.
Bitch. Oh, what?
Oh my god, there's so many boom things over here. Huh? Ow, why? Ow, why? Ow, why? Ow, mommy!
You're being invaded. Find them before they find you.
Really? Did I just get teabagged by... Oh, that thing's stuck. I was about to say, did I just get teabagged by that thing? Like, the fuck?
No, he's just stuck. It's all good. Oh my god! Stop it! I don't like this! I don't want to play this game!
Oh my gosh.
Ah!
Don't mind me checking up a lung here.
Must die, sister. Invaders out. Get them next time.
They were on me like white on rice, bro.
Hostiles inbound at the steps.
Wait, did I keep that moat? Or what? They already have almost all their emotes.
Sounds like you suck, Angel.
Opposing team summoned.
Sounds like you swallow Ellendale.
Portals up. Go look them in the eyes.
Sounds like you bear children, Mars.
Ah! Mommy!
Fucker.
Don't ask me to explain, because I don't know.
I
Exactly,
fell.
just don't.
I fell.
Don't do it, man.
I fell down, go boom.
This is not going very good.
I keep getting attacked by birds.
Portals ready.
Oh, you asshole!
Your allies invading. Almost time for a priming. Fill that bank up.
You didn't actually help me. Okay, now you help me.
You good?
Just slid right by me. Look at this dude. Now I'm gonna beat your ass. Fuck you.
Incoming wave at the grill.
Stupid snake.
I'm a snake.
Invaders back with 3 guardians down.
Well, snake is dead now.
Can someone just put the pirate?
Alright,
Okay.
you can still
Yay!
win this. Burn that primeval to the ground.
Oh god. Okay, we gotta go get the. Oh god, I don't like this at all.
Ow, what the fuck? Eating my asshole after having a salty burrito.
Oh, I got hit by the primeval.
Fuck it, I'm killing everything now.
Primeval compromised. Focus your fire.
Alright, okay. Ow! What the fucking dick?
Angel
Keep on it.
Ow, 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 ow. Where did he go? Up there you are. Hi, bitch.
Hey, bitch.
No, no, don't hit me. Don't hit me. No, no, that's my no square.
Die.
Your allies invading the other side. Your allies dead. Sending them back.
How many zombies are gonna show up here?
Where they at? 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 Where they at?
Oh, wow.
Fuck,
Opposing
bro.
team put their primeval on ice.
Bottom dollar? What the fuck is that?
Bottom dollar.
It's a gun, apparently.
Oh. Interesting.
It's called bottom dollar.
$100. What?
Wait.
I'd buy that for $1. Do you get that reference?
Yes.
Thanks, Angel. I appreciate it. I appreciate the
I got
pity
another
laugh.
Gambit Ingram. I got 2 of those now.
We got two.
Get two.
Got to.
Two, please. Two, please. Hey, I like a two cannoli.
Oh my god.
A bibbidi bobbidi boom, you know?
Like, we're already being offensive enough on this podcast. Oh my god, I should not waste any more bullets on you.
Wow.
Wow. Wowie, wowie.
I'll just throw my spear at you. If it takes me 3 bullets to kill 1 vulture, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
You suck at aim.
Apparently. You guys think you'd ever be able to handle fasting? Dawn to dusk? No food?
Nope.
No
Nope.
water?
Nope.
I can tell you right now, nope. I'm
No.
I'm
I'm pregnant, so I'm excused. Thank you.
Well, yeah, you are excused. No, you are 100% excused. There's... it's very clearly stated that if, you know... If you are sick, pregnant, on your menstrual cycle, any of that stuff, that you are exempt from completing religious, like, what do you call it? Not rituals, but like stuff. Don't have to.
Stuff.
Like you don't have to pray. You don't have to. Oh my god! I'm getting in a punching match with a bird. Oh my god! Another bird! God damn you!
Fucking Cortex. Bitch.
Oh come on! This is why the spear sucks. Ow!
Yes! Fall in flat.
You too? Yeah, you too. I'll get you right in the hip with that one. Oh, right in your arm.
Oh, I hate when I'm sitting there in the middle of dancing and I get
Bring their mooks to the bank.
fucked in the face. Woo! Time to run to go get the teams. Daddy, what are you doing? Just standing there.
Oh, come on! How did I miss that? Ah! In your hip again. No, your stomach. But what? Another bird? Really? Ha!
Oh my god, it scared me. Really?
I should have known because I'm in the town. So there's zombies everywhere in the town.
Son of a bitch. Ay, 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 ay.
You guys wouldn't have to go with full fasting right off the bat. You could start off small.
But, food.
Ow.
The idea is that you give up your base desires for the pleasure of God in some sense. You're holding yourself back and showing your self-control upon yourself.
Ah, fuck!
But you know, if you don't want to do that, then
target. Burn it down. Incoming hostiles at the ring. You're being invaded. Find
God
them before they find
damn it,
you.
I gotta hide.
Ah!
Invader's gone. Get him next time.
Oh my god.
Thank God.
Well,
There we go, have a large blocker, bitch. Punch me, motherfucker. Keep punching me. Keep punching me, motherfucker. Hey, you fucking bitch. Keep fucking bitch.
shit.
Where did high value target go? Oh! He hit back through this little hole.
Oh my god, there's so many things over here! Why am I the only one over here?
Target is down.
Why am I the only one over here? What is happening? What is going on? Why am I the only one over there? Ah! No wonder what I was being shot at! Oh my god, bro.
Mortal Prime. Go make a mess. Hostiles incoming at the burrow.
Fuck it, I'm going to say hi.
Is invading.
That is a mistake.
Watch it. You're shedding moats. Kill the blockers.
Are you serious right now?
Ow.
Your invaders
Oh,
down.
I love how I go
Coming
and
back to
fucking lag out and he kills me.
Such is the way.
This is not the way.
Oh, no, no.
Incoming hostiles at the ring.
Ah, fuck, bro.
Most draining. The blockers must die, sister. Invader
Yeah,
on the
no
field.
shit.
Careful. Opposing teams got to climb in. Once it dies, they win. Portal's up. Go look them in the eyes.
Oh my god, I hate this. I'm going back to Gunslinger, thank you. I do not like this at all.
What the fuck? Jimmy, fucking Christmas.
Ow.
I don't even know what the hell I killed.
Your allies invading the other side. Hostiles incoming at command. Your invaders down, but they scored 2 kills. Not bad.
And we're gonna do this little number and send them fucking shit.
Look at
All right, you can
Shit! I hate this thing. Ah!
Oh, we got our primeval. Time to go kill the. Ow!
Primeval compromised. Burn it down.
Why am I in front of him? Why am I his target?
Who knows why?
Your allies invaded.
Come on, give me some arc damage. Fuck.
Arc damage.
That's not arc damage. Yeah.
Ow, 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 ow.
Alright, you know what? Fuck off.
Your invaders down. But
Nope. Nope.
you're in the
Nope.
lead.
Did I go kill it?
Another envoy.
Invaders here. Brace yourself.
Ah, fuck! Stupid fucking Wolfie.
Invaders.
Whatever.
You'll get them next time.
Take darkness bolt.
I can't revive that guy. I tried.
The enemy team's about to win this. Get moving. Envoys in the dirt. Now kill the big guy. Allies headed to the other side.
I hear this guy's good. Good
Got
thing.
allies. Enemy
Son
team
of a
melted
bitch,
their
bro! Every time.
It's not here.
No, it's not.
So, did you guys want to talk, or?
I don't know. I don't even know what we can talk about.
Hey, you can talk about anything. Hey, look, you're the one who wanted to start this podcast.
I mean, true.
I did want this. What time is it? What time is it? What time is it?
12:30.
I should get to bed.
Oh. Yeah. Well, anyway.
I should lay down.
Ow. Yeah, I think you can just delete this because there's not really anything of substance.
Yeah.
We don't know what to talk about, guys.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to talk, but nobody else is
I mean,
conversing.
I had a whole bunch of stuff lined up, but
Okay. Well,
I
you can.
completely forgot. Most of it was stuff that I saw on TikTok or something like.
Let's
Religiously, you mean?
Huh?
Nothing.
religiously.
Yeah, religiously.
I am religious to eating. Food for the food god!
Ooh, that's gonna. Well, I mean,
Ow.
in my defense,
Uh-huh.
okay. Let's put it this way. I saw something the other day that was talking about how either the priest or preacher or whatever, I can't, it was a father, let's put it that way,
Father.
of the church, and he
Mhm.
was talking about when you don't have ashes for Ash Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
And he then proceeds to go through all the steps to making ashes for Ash Wednesday.
Okay.
Mind you, as he's going through all this, he's talking about burning like Palo Santo wood or sacred wood and all this other stuff and putting it in a
Right.
mortar and pestle. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, y'all are complaining about how pagans and Wiccans and stuff like that do that stuff, but yet you're doing the exact thing you're complaining people are doing.
I just wanna talk about like how often when we get into these religious discussions, and I understand it's what you've experienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm coming from the perspective of Islam, and you're like, well, the Christians do this.
I know, and I know it's bad that I'm sitting here and I'm like, it seems like I'm targeting the Christians or any.
No, by all means, I would target them too. They've got some really weird stuff that they do, and Islam does not approve, of course. There's things that the Christians do that Islam, is like, nah, this ain't right.
Right.
And so it's always interesting when you guys talk, well, Christianity says this. I'm like, yeah, Islam doesn't say any of this bullshit.
Right, because I've noticed that it's the Islamic people and most of the Wiccan community or pagan doesn't.
Don't equate those two.
I'm not equating them. I'm just saying
I get
they're
it.
mainly the ones that are sitting here not wanting to, or not, doing the whole thing of, oh, well, if you do this, this, or that, you're going to hell kind of thing. And it's like, wait a minute, why is it those two religions are the ones that aren't, doing that thing? But yet you have all these Christians that are Christians or Catholicism, I should say Catholicism, because most of it's from Catholicism, is sitting there pointing the finger of, oh, well, you're doing this, this, and this, and you're bad for doing that. You're going to hell. Like, how am I supposed to go to the hell that I don't believe in? Or how am I supposed
well, how do you say that you're going to go to a heaven that you believe in?
I don't believe in heaven or hell. The only thing I believe in is like Valhalla, which is kind of technically a Norse heaven.
It's a version of heaven.
Kind of, yes.
Well, I can, okay. My, like, this question could be tossed back and forth, constantly, up to, like, infinity, basically. But, like, how can you say that you're not going to a hell that you don't believe in, but then how can you say you're going to a heaven that you believe in?
True.
Like,
I don't honestly know, because
well, no one knows.
Yeah,
that's why it's belief.
Yeah, in all honesty, for all we know, the so-called quote-unquote heaven everybody talks about could be just one big huge thing, and it's just you're different. You're interpreting it differently than the other person.
And that's fair. But, like, Islam in the Quran and everything is defined clearly. Of course, again, same question. Like, okay, well, I don't believe in that heaven, so what use is it to me, right?
Right, and the only way to ever know about that is to actually die.
Well, right. That's why it's called belief, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, because that goes into the thing of the what if question. Like, what if, it really is just this one big huge thing, and everybody's just interpreting it in their own way and their own different, and they're saying, oh, well, you're going to do this, this, and this because you're not doing it.
Well, so how I would combat that question, right? Like, how can you believe that you're going to a specific heaven besides just through your own belief, right?
Right.
In that way, then you prove everything else about Islam or about that religion.
Mhm.
And then still it's belief, but then at a certain point you're like, okay, well, if I believe just about everything else about this religion,
Mhm.
then I'd have to believe that in their idea of heaven and hell, right?
Right.
That's why when we talk about heaven and hell, that's not usually the main topic of conversation. What it is the proofs of Islam as a religion, as a way of life,
Right.
because that leads then to everything else.
Right. And that's what their intention is with the Catholicism stuff too. It's like that's their whole.
Well, I mean, Islam does the same thing, but it's
Yeah,
not in
all
your
of
face, I
them
guess,
do.
as
Yeah,
much.
right. And you don't have those Karens and Kevins going up to you like, "Oh, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, or you're going to hell because you're doing it bad."
You know why?
Why?
Because in Islam, it's the foundation of belief, right? In Islam, you believe that you are responsible for your own sins. There's no original sin, and there's no Christ died for our sins.
Yeah, but
It's all on you, buddy. So who cares what I'm doing? Who cares about what you're doing? I'm worried about myself.
right.
And so I am going to do the best that I can in this world, and I wish you the best of luck, kind of thing.
Right, but in
There's still brotherhood and stuff, but it's a lot more of like you have the power to change your own like destiny and place in this
you
world
would,
and
you would
next.
think that's what they would do in Catholicism. Catholicism, because of the fact that they talk about how you're responsible for doing this, you're responsible for doing that, but yet everybody still points the finger and it's like, oh, well, you're doing this, this, and this wrong. It's like, bro, I don't.
Well, I mean, it's
give
always easier to look at other people than it is at yourself, right?
Right. And instead of going, I'm going to look instead of doing I'm looking in the mirror and I'm seeing myself kind of thing and seeing what I'm doing wrong. No, I'm going to blame everybody else for what I'm doing wrong and sit there and portray myself onto somebody else because I fucked up.
Right. But that's the way that people look at it,
Right. And
it's just the way I'm not brushing it off by any means, but that's the way that people have done it for like years and years.
Yeah. And
Like hundreds of years.
and it's more so prominent now because people are because literally the zero fucks given thing of, oh well, I don't give a fuck what happened. I'm doing the better thing of going and telling people they're doing bad things because I did a bad thing that they're doing, and I'm telling them they're doing it wrong and they're doing bad by God because of the fact that I did it and I know they're doing it.
Yeah, maybe the church enforces
What?
that, but I
know that was a little confusing, but okay,
no, I get it.
Yeah.
My head hurts.
Okay, well then you can stay out of this conversation, child.
Wow. Fuck you too.
My head hurts.
Yeah, but no, but that's what I'm saying though. Like people were literally doing the I'm portraying myself thing onto somebody else because I fucked up, so I'm gonna blame them for doing the exact same thing I did, but I'm not gonna own up to my own shit.
It's like some sort of self-righteous thing. They're like, to make up for my sins, I must prevent it on others or something. And to a certain degree, that is admirable, but not in the way that people are doing it.
Right. It's almost as if they're trying to shove the shit down people's throats. Like, oh, you did the same. I've done that before. You're doing it now, so I'm going to prevent you from doing it, but I'm going to shove all this shit down your throat because of the fact.
Right.
It's like, that's not how you go about that.
Yeah, and so I try to do my best to just explain the whole system, how it exists. Like the way that Islam is structured is that everything that the system is given to you. You are given the template of success, as people would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have been shown the way and the path to absolution and to preventing your appointment in the hellfire or whatever you want to call it. You've been given everything, and so then it's like at that point it's just upon you like putting it into practice.
Yeah,
And, it doesn't matter what someone else says. It's just between you and God. And you have to make the right decision for yourself.
And that's how it should be. It should be just, you shouldn't be putting yourself on this planet to impress other people. You should be doing it just to impress yourself or the man upstairs or whoever you believe in. That's
The man upstairs.
the higher power or whatever. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'm, here to, call out people who are fucking up and on doing their sins and whatnot, and or what I would consider my, or what I'm gonna try and speak in this as somebody else, because you should sit there and be doing the, oh, I'm going to be here to do what's good by the higher ups or the higher power, and do right by that, and do the right thing and do good on my own, instead of going around and pointing the finger at everybody else and saying, oh, you're doing this, or oh, you're doing that. And wouldn't that be considered a sin either way, because of the fact that it's considered you're being prideful?
It depends on your intention. If your intention is to show, like if in your heart, you're like, look at how good I am for doing this to people, then yes, that is a sin.
Isn't that what most of the people are doing nowadays? While they're going on social media and like YouTube and TikTok and Twitch and all that shit, doing the, I'm showing you that they're doing wrong because I want to make sure that people know that they're doing wrong.
Some people could have pure intentions about it. There's always going to be people who are actually wanting to help others by conveying this kind of information. Now, sometimes it will not be in the right way, like shoving it down people's throats is definitely not the right way to do it.
No.
But they have the best of intentions.
Yeah.
And intention is more important. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to listen to a goddamn word they say, right?
Right.
So they're putting it in the universe, and whoever listens, listens.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that still be considered on the borderline of teetering between the sin of pride and, having good intentions for it?
It exists. Yeah, there's definitely a danger in that. But what you need to do then is you need to make sure that your heart stays in check, and you're doing this not just to show that, hey, I'm the greatest person because I'm showing you that you're wrong. You're like what I'm doing, right? Now, I'm not shoving it down your throat by any means, but I'm expressing all of these parts of Islam, and my honest intention is to hopefully get you guys to kind of see and understand and see what's behind the label of Islam. And now, if someone wants to take it a different way, then that's unfortunate.
Right.
And I can't change that view, but in my view, I'm trying to provide assistance. I'm trying to provide knowledge,
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you just have to look at the person's character. If they are bitching and moaning about it, then there's a problem. But if they're honestly just trying to give you some advice and see what people are doing wrong and try to prevent it by pointing it out, then you just need to judge that on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, God sorts out everybody.
Yeah. Well, here's the
Who are you to judge when God is the ultimate judge?
Right, and it goes back to that whole thing of not judge ye, or wait, it's not judge yes, lest ye be judged. Right.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Judge not, lest you be judged, or something like that. Yeah.
And then like I said, but here's the thing though: most of the people that do all that crap,
Yep.
are posting that shit on social, like TikTok and stuff. And most of them, here's the thing: most of them that I have come across have done the whole judging thing on everybody or any person they've done or seen, or trying to, say so and so's doing wrong or this person is doing wrong. Most of them have done that judging thing. Most of them have done the prideful judging thing, and it's like, okay, but you're trying to portray that you're trying to have the best intentions, yet you're judging when your so-called Bible says that your God says you shouldn't judge other people.
Right, but you can't let people just go, do willy-nilly, right? Then you'd have chaos.
Right.
Like, honestly, what this issue is it comes back to the source, right? If you're getting all of your knowledge from the Bible, right, unfortunately, there are way too many different types or versions of the Bible.
Yeah.
And that causes dissonance within the Christian community itself. So when you have these people who are trying to conversate back and forth about Christianity ought to be, you have so many different versions that people come from. Now, with the Quran, you have a single text that is unchanged, that is distributed to everybody. That way you know that most everybody is going to be on the same plane, right?
Yeah.
And that way if someone steps out of line, everyone knows how to put them back in a kind way, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that Christianity now is more of like your perception of it, right? You read the Bible, you interpret it, you read the King James Version, someone else reads like the original Old Testament, someone reads this, someone reads that. Everyone has a different idea, and then they try to correct based on their own idea.
Yeah, and that's not just Christianity. That's also being Lutheran, Catholic, any of them. They're all different, and they're all taught differently through their...
They're all essentially branches of Christianity. So when I say Christianity, I do mean like the entire...
Yeah, and or we could just take straight up Catholicism, because...
Well, if we want to talk specifically about Catholicism, I think Catholicism is one of the main branches.
Yeah.
But like Christianity as a whole...
Yeah, it's just...
There's just so much that's within there.
Yeah.
But even like within Catholicism, if we want to go down to a basic, like a specific group, right?
Yeah.
Even within Catholicism, you'll have priests who say different things because they interpret the Bible differently, or they interpret certain verses differently.
And isn't Judaism, isn't that...
Judaism.
Yeah, isn't that a different branch of Christianity, or is that just by in and of itself completely different?
It's its own... Well, they use what would be considered the Old Testament.
Yeah.
The Torah.
Yeah, the Torah. But, and then...
It's... Go ahead, sorry.
I don't know. What I'm trying to see is, because if I remember correctly, there's the Old Testament and the New Testament, and then you have...
Right.
Isn't that all in the King James Version?
I'm not sure.
But from what I
But if you want like the full Bible is what you're asking about?
Yeah, because they all... There's a lot of different versions of that damn thing, like no joke. And then you have each different set under Christianity teaches it differently. And the Catholics teach it differently, the Lutherans teach it differently, the Christians teach it differently.
Right.
And it's just, and it all gets all like a big, huge clusterfuck of a jumbled mess. And then you have the Christians saying, oh, well, this isn't right. Then you have Catholics doing this. It's like, what? It's like, y'all don't understand. Like, why can't... Y'all reading from almost the exact same version sometimes.
Yeah. And they bring something different out.
Right. And it's just, it makes no sense. It really doesn't.
Yeah. But, the thing is, when I'm watching like these people who do lectures on Christianity versus Islam, or Judaism versus, it's mostly Christianity. They don't have a lot to say about Judaism because Christians are the most outspoken about, hey, you fuckers are going to hell. So they're the ones who want to have the dialogue and the debate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
So if you use the Quran as a guide in some sense, and then you read the Bible alongside it, right? You can see where the things break off, right?
Mhm.
Where things kind of, because in like essentially what exists is they're both the same message. One has been muddied, and the other one is the original. Is like the full, like unaltered text, right?
Mhm.
Again, if you believe all of this, right? I
Yeah.
always want to put that caveat out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you use the Quran as the guide, basically, and you go back to as original as you can with the Old Testament, which I think is the Hebrew version,
Yeah.
that the similarities line right up. And it's the problem of like the Latin translations and the English translations and the Greek translations that these words became something that they weren't meant to be.
Yeah, because it got basically what happened was it got lost in translation.
Literally, right.
Literally, because somebody screwed up on a translation thing, and they're like, "Oh well, guess what? We screwed up. It's not. We have to fix this, and if we fix it, we're gonna put it in our own words. So screw it." Kind of thing.
Right.
And that's where it starts getting into the, oh well, you're supposed to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and it's like, okay, well, if you're supposed to obey the Bible and obey what God tells you, why is it you're sitting here, not only are you judging people, but you're not supposed to be eating meat on certain Fridays during leap year. You're supposed to only be eating fish. You're supposed to be doing this, or you're not supposed to be doing, I can't remember most of them, but I know there's some of them that you're not supposed to be doing certain things with. And yet, if you're sitting there saying, "Oh well, I follow the Bible and I follow God because I'm a good Christian or I'm a good this,"
Jesus is my savior.
right? And you're doing this, this, and this, and you're being a sinner, so you're going to hell. But yet, if you follow the Bible, in the Bible it says you're not supposed to be. There's a whole chapter telling you what you're supposed to be doing, and not 98% of the people that say they're following the Bible as a quote-unquote good Christian aren't even doing it.
Right.
So how, if you're following the Bible and you do what your God tells you to do, you're not doing what he's telling you to do by not following the rules that he lays out in you in his quote-unquote Bible.
Yeah.
So,
like, honestly, for those people who would go to, I'd say that the Christians who follow what the Old Testament says and they don't read the translation, they read the original Bible in Hebrew or whatever language it is. I believe the Hebrew is the right language. Those people are much closer to Islam than modern Christianity is right now. Because
because isn't the Hebrew one the closest to
Hebrew and Arabic are the same language family.
Yeah, and aren't they the closest to what the Quran and what the original Bible text was supposed to be?
Yes.
Whereas the translated King James version is a muddied clusterfuck.
Right. No, that's exactly right. The Quran exists as if you read in the Quran, there's a verse that says, "Inna ad-deena 'inda Allahi al-Islam," and so it says that verily the religion or the deen is like all encompassing. It's not just religion; it's like everything.
Yeah.
Inna ad-deena 'inda Allahi, in the religion of God is Islam. It says that right off.
Yeah.
And in several places, when they talk about Prophet Abraham, And he says, "This is the religion I am giving to you, Islam," and like he's stating it, and or God is putting it in there as he's stating it to help kind of solidify this idea that essentially the message has been the same throughout all of history, but those who call themselves Jews and Christians have muddied the message. Islam is essentially the same message that has been sent from the beginning, but the Quran exists as the final, unchanged word of God. That, hey, you guys screwed up on this. Here's the
y'all dropped
message.
the ball like the fuck.
Right.
You had one job and you fucked it up.
Right, and so then I remember Bark was asking this question, right? Why did God wait until number 3, right? To get it done right?
Technically, he didn't. Technically, it was done right the first time. It just
People screwed up.
people dropped the ball and mistranslated shit and thought it was okay to put their own words in it. And it's like, okay, well, this is what we're gonna pull off as the word of God. Here we go.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. Like, they should have translated it properly, like it should have, like it was originally supposed to be. But people thought, oh well, because I'm supposed to be translating this text, I'm going to put in my own words, kind of thing. It's like, what?
Well, the mistakes can be easy sometimes. You know, it's like it's not necessarily like there's a difference between translating exactly and then like transliterating. Do you know what transliterating means in a sense?
Translating it into your own words.
No, transliterating means you based on context and based on like basically you're saying what it means. Like I can translate it and it literally means this. But in this context and in this sentence it means this. You understand? Like you infer the meaning of it rather than just simply translating the word.
Yeah.
Because that's an issue with Arabic too. Like I'll have some friends of mine ask me what this word is or what this phrase is in Arabic, and I said, well, it literally means this, but what it actually means is this, you know?
Yeah.
So I could translate it literally, and it comes out as gibberish and, you know, like unintelligible, like,
Yeah.
well, what does that mean?
It's like literally one of those, huh?
Yeah, yeah, right. But it means this in this instance.
Yeah.
And so that's where the translation gets lost a lot of the time.
Yeah, because they literally translated it into their own words, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, it means this, but you know, and that's where it got lost in translation because literally everybody was sitting there doing the fuck moment.
Yeah, I mean, see, and I wouldn't blame at least not many of those people for doing it intentionally.
Right.
You know. Like, they probably didn't know what they were doing. They were just like, well, I know this word means this. And, you know, they just wrote it down like that instead of, you know, studying and taking the time to kind of understand the material and see what the context is. They're just like, all right, well, this is what this word means. This is what this word means, yada, 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 on and on and on. Because the lectures that I listen to use this example for... Apparently, there's a big dispute whether the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is mentioned in the Bible or not. Because in the Quran, it talks about how Jesus said that there will be a messenger who comes after me, and his name is Muhammad, right? And it's one of those prophecy type things. And so then they're like, okay, well, is it mentioned in the Bible, right? And so then people will be like, no, I don't see it.
It really isn't. It really isn't.
It is.
Oh, it is?
If you go... See, here's the thing. If you go to the Old Testament Hebrew, there it is. It's there.
Yeah, but it's not in the
But in the translated version, it doesn't exist because they mistranslated it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things
Yeah,
where it's
'cause
like,
if I remember correctly from back in when I used to consider myself Christian,
yes,
back then when we read the Bible, if I remember correctly, the only thing it talks about in the New Modern translated King James Version, it talks about a prophet coming after Christ. It doesn't say who it is, what the name is, or the person is supposed to be. It just talks about a prophet. It doesn't say anything to the extent of a name or anything.
A name, right?
So
I don't know. This is one of those things where I would recommend people to go and watch these lectures because they can logic things out and say things that I can't even get close to. They have a much better understanding of language and a much better, they speak publicly for their job,
right.
for their livelihood, so they have a much better way of expressing it. But they like jump from pieces of logic to logic to logic, and it's like, okay, can you see that this is what makes the most sense? And then they're like, yeah, but then you still come up against that wall where you're like, but do I really want to just, forget everything that I've practiced all these years,
Right. And
So
that's
you
when
can debate all you want. At the end of the day, the person has to make their own concerted choice to actually do something about it.
Right, and that's when the creature of habit comes into play. It's like, do I want to break all the habits that I've been doing for this many years to, be like, hey, wait a minute.
Right.
Or do I want to just continue doing the same thing I've been doing for years and, just completely say fuck it and believe what I want to believe kind of thing.
Yeah, in the Quran, it also mentions in several places that a prophet, one of the many prophets, would go to his people, and he said, why do you believe in these idols, or why do you believe in this deity or these gods over the one true God? And sometimes they're like, well, we saw our fathers doing it, so we follow them.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, are your fathers greater than your Lord?
Right.
So.
Yeah, but then comes the question of, who's to say that God's not amongst those so-called old deities or whatever?
I mean, I'd say that that's probably what they were built around, is that, those polytheistic religions still believed in, like, maybe an all-powerful, like Zeus, or like Odin, or one of, like there was technically an all-powerful main god, but then all these sub-gods, this
yeah.
From me looking at it, from my perspective, from an Islamic and outsider's perspective, it does look like nonsense to me. But that's just what I've learned in my experience,
Yeah.
So for me, it looks like, okay, well, I don't see how that makes sense. But for someone else, they can perfectly make sense out of it. So I don't know.
Right. Well,
but
from my understanding, with the polytheistic gods, the original reason there was a main god, and then he took a wife, like he would normally do, and then all these other gods,
like a person would normally do. Yes.
And then all these other gods came about because that main god,
because he couldn't keep his dick in his pants,
pretty much. So,
but why ascribe something like that to God?
I mean, you never know.
But
I'm just the thing I'm saying is the reason why is because if you think about all these so-called, like, I want to say, the word I'm gonna use is femdom things or whatever. Okay, because if you think about it, okay, with all these like branches, like, say, I know this is probably gonna sound really bad, but I'm gonna use Supernatural as an example. Okay, you've watched Supernatural, right?
A few of the episodes, but yeah, I know the gist of the show.
Okay, pretty much what they're saying is God came about with a sister.
Mhm.
And
With a sister?
yes.
Okay.
He was the light, she was the dark, and they balance each other out.
Gotcha.
And, God had all these archangels
Mm-hmm.
who were his kids.
Uh-huh.
How would you get kids that are archangels if you didn't decide that you were going to take a wife?
The question isn't about children or not. Like there's a chapter there's a chapter in the Quran, and it's like the almost final chapter in the book, right? And so it was revealed at a time where some Christian missionaries had come to the Prophet. And so then they go and ask him, okay, so who's this God that you worship, right? Mm-hmm. Who is this person or this entity or whatever? Mm-hmm. And so then the revelation comes, and it's brief. It's one of the short, it's not the shortest, but it's one of the shortest chapters in the Quran. Mm-hmm. And it says, say, he is the Lord, the one and only. Allahu Samad, the one who is... I need to remember the translation for that. But like the Most High, or the Exalted One. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He does not beget, nor is he begotten. Walam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. And there is no one that is equal or at the same level to him. That's the end of the chapter. It's like 4 verses. Okay. And it outlines perfectly what God is, who he is, and what kind of entity he is. He is one that has no equal, does not have kids, does not have parents, does not beget, nor is he begotten, and he is all powerful.
Okay, that's with the Quran though, but in the Christian Bible, it says he is the archangel. It says kids. What, is he asexual and he can procreate himself?
No, there's the children. The aspect of children. Are you going to take that literally, or are you going to take that figuratively?
What I'm saying, because from what I understand in the Bible, it says literally that Jesus was his son.
Right.
So was Lucifer, Morning Star, so was Michael, and all these other things. And it even states it in the so-called spin-offs, like the TV series or whatever they talk about when they talk about God, that all these archangels, according to what was being told in the King James Version, was that those were his kids. Okay, well, if they were his kids, what did he do? Just create them out of thin air?
Yes, that's what he does. How do you think this universe was created?
A Big Bang?
Okay, but what started the Big Bang then?
Something exploding because it imploded on itself? Like...
How far back are you willing to go on that?
Honestly, I don't know.
So... The proofs that a lot of people use to disprove like atheist claims of like the universe is the creator, so to speak, quote unquote, the creator, right? Mm-hmm. The evidence that they give against that is that you cannot keep going back to things that need something to cause them to happen, right? If you keep going back, maybe if somehow humans figure out how to time travel or something, right? Mm-hmm. Then we can check about going back, all the way back, right? Mm-hmm. But there has to be a beginning somewhere. And what causes that beginning, Mm-hmm. How far back are you willing to go to what causes that beginning? And so by that virtue of that statement, you are going to say that there is a being, an entity, an all-powerful entity that has caused everything to come into being.
But then who created that entity and that all-powerful being?
He doesn't need there's no way, because if he was created, then there has to be yet another creator, right? That's even, so it becomes nonsensical. It becomes nonsensical. It becomes nonsensical. Like, how can you keep going back like that?
Right, and then you start going into an endless loop of, okay, well, if somebody had to create that person, then somebody obviously had to create this entity or that
Right.
entity.
So
And it becomes an endless loop, and you're just going in circles at that point.
exactly. So essentially, because we have no knowledge of this, at a certain point, who knows? Maybe we could get to the point where we figure it out, right?
Yeah, but good luck on that, because you're just going to
Right.
keep running in circles.
Yeah. So like
At some
at this point in logic, right, we're going to say that there is a single creator who just exists outside of time, outside of space. He does, he's all powerful, all seeing, all knowing. He does not need anyone nor anything to sustain. He is self-sustaining, and he has created the entire universe through a natural process, which is, we could say, the Big Bang. So he caused this Big Bang, and then the world comes into being according to his plan, right?
For all we know, he could have came over from an alternate dimension. To be honest, I mean, we don't know.
You're right. Okay, see, you can think that, right? We have no knowledge. We have no knowledge.
Right.
Except what is given to us, right? If you believe that the Quran is the actual sent word of God, then he's given it all the necessary information is there. He's not given us any useless information, things that we really didn't need to know. In the Quran, everything is very concise, very clear, and it gives us all the necessary information, and none of it is useless information.
Right.
Right?
Right. But like I said, at some point, we're going to end up running in circles, number one. Number two, not only that, but you also... there's always that person that's, like I said, going to pop off with for all we know, he could have came from an alternate dimension. For all we know, when I was growing up playing the Sims game, I used to sit there and think, when I was actually considering myself a Christian, I used to think God was a person on a computer
playing the Sims.
And manipulating everybody into telling people what to do. That's what I used to think.
Yeah, and look, you wouldn't be blamed for that, right? That's a common thought. That's not like, there's puppeteering strings everywhere that, people want to talk about. But the essence of whether God exists or not is based upon that idea that there cannot be, you cannot keep going back to say, okay, well, what created this, then what created that, then what created that, on and on and on.
If you keep doing that, you're just going to lose
You're just going to lose your own head, right? So, by that virtue, like we were mentioning before, that means the only logical conclusion you could come to is that something, some being, or some entity started everything, and that he doesn't need anything to continue to exist.
That would be by the Islamic and the Christians.
True.
Now, an atheist or some agnostic or whatever, somebody would argue with you on that and say, okay, just y'all can believe that an entity created this, but there's also logical and scientific proof of certain things that happen in our universe out in space that would cause certain things to happen to allow that, and then you can't disprove evolution either, because evolution has been scientifically proven that what can happen is stuff like that does happen.
I think, I don't know about evolution specifically, what Islam says about it. In my personal view, that I have not read up on it at all, but evolution occurs definitely. Animals exist over time and they will change.
Yeah.
But the part that I disagree with, and that I think most Muslims or most religious people in general would disagree with, is the fact that we came from monkeys somehow. That is the main point where we disagree with the theory of evolution.
Yeah, but here's the thing: there has been proof that says there is a possibility, and I know you're gonna argue with me on that, that we did come from monkeys, because if you look at it, monkeys are literally the only thing that has opposable thumbs.
Okay, well then, so how do you then explain that to the religious person who believes in all the prophets, like Adam being the first man?
Okay, you want to know how I do that?
Sure.
There is a condition that is a medical condition that I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head.
Okay.
That causes you to have fur all over your body.
So you're saying that God created a very hairy man?
No, what I'm saying is there's a possibility that because at some point we did come from monkeys, because yes, monkeys have a lot of fur all over them.
Mm-hmm.
And as evolution has proven, there has been a thing of hair loss. And as you could tell, we still have that nowadays, where people have thinning hair and hair loss.
Right.
But because of the fact that we have gone through evolution, we still have hair all over our bodies as it is.
Right.
Like,
but it's not like a monkey.
No, but
and we don't have the same brain capacity. We have the facility for language. We have advanced thought.
Have you not seen some of the videos and stuff nowadays?
I'm not saying that
monkeys and gorillas that do speak and talk.
Right, but does the whole species do that?
No, but there's certain ones. Like, that's what evolution is it doesn't always do with one or two. Like, you know, once you get that couple, it doesn't always just deal with the entire species. You can get maybe a few that can learn to talk, and once you do that, then you breed them, then you get more.
Now, see, that's the thing. If we get to a point where we have a walking, talking gorilla that can learn rocket science and stuff like that, then I won't have any issue. But the fact is that
you may
as
not be
humans,
around to see that, though.
Right. So, but the issue for me comes in when you just see the quote unquote evolutionary gap between where we are and where the monkeys are, right? Like, how is it then that those monkeys are not where we are right now? Is it just because they evolved later? They came in later than we did? We just were around longer?
I mean, it's possible. But, I mean, then again, you also have, like I said, like, as you get through the, like, okay, it's like as if you're breeding stuff. Like, say if you're playing Ark and you go through a shit ton of these, like, T-Rexes or whatever, and most of them only have certain things of, like, the thing you want, right?
Yeah.
Then you get to a point where you get that specific one that has 3 or more of the modifications to the T-Rex, or that has the better in certain things that you want. You take that T-Rex and breed it with another T-Rex to get the modifications to the other T-Rexes that you want, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say, where evolution possibly came into play, is because of the simple fact that there's a possibility that breeding happened and allowed that to come into play to where humans start coming about.
I understand that, okay? I understand that.
Because if you remember correctly, even in the history books, it says and talks about cavemen back then. All they did was do the grunts and the different noises. They didn't have full-on language and speech. That evolved over time. That's where I'm saying the evolution was coming into play, because way before people even knew how to read and write, there was no Quran, there was no Bible, there was none of that. It was just a thing of them believing what they wanted to believe in before all the reading and the writing and the, you know, the language and the speech and all that came into play.
Right, but then you still have Adam as the first man, who was a walking, talking.
That's according to the Bible and the Quran. For all we
True.
know,
True.
that could have just came about because when somebody decided that we're gonna believe. For all we know, God could have just been a figment of somebody's imagination. I know that sounds bad. I know that sounds bad.
No, I understand.
Because I know it sounds bad. Don't come for me. I'm just saying. For all we know, God
Are
could
you
have
talking
been.
to me, or are you talking to the viewers?
I'm talking to everybody in general. Because for all we know, literally, God could have been a figment of somebody's imagination and saying, oh, well, I believe in, how did all this create? How did this get created? How did we do this? How did we do that? For all we know, that's what could have happened. Because for all we know, before the Bible and the Quran and the Torah and stuff were created, nobody was doing any of that before they even talked about seeing God or a God or there was animals and beasts and stuff roaming the earth before humans even got here.
Right.
And from what I understand, we have proof of the dinosaurs and the mammoths and the animals and stuff roaming said earth before humans even existed.
Yes, I agree.
So if we have all the beasts and the dinosaurs and all that stuff roaming the earth, how did humans come about without, if that wasn't the case of evolution? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, and I've thought about this too. The thing is, I have never taken the time to look it up as to what the scholars say about it. I have this article in front of me right now, Evolution in Islam, a brief review. Because I honestly have no knowledge of this, and I've wondered it myself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we had dinosaurs and we had these lizards that existed way before,
because if
happened?
if I'm correct,
Mhm.
supposed quote unquote Ark, the video game. I know this is I'm quoting a video game. This is really okay. This is gonna be riveting stuff,
this is
guys.
science.
If I'm correct, most of the dinosaur games and stuff that you see nowadays are supposedly quote unquote based off of what actually roamed the earth and existed back then.
Right.
So, if we have all of those dinosaurs and stuff, and beasts and big huge bugs and, you know, all that other shit that roamed the earth back then, where would humans come into play? And even before then, when you read it in the history books and it talks about cavemen and I think of Paleolithic age?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it sounds right.
And back then, they didn't have language or an actual quote-unquote speaking language to speak to each other. All they did was grunt at each other and make noises and bang on shit.
Right, but that's like... It's still guesswork at the end of the day. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm not saying that it's wrong by any means.
Right.
But, you know, at a certain point, we're making a very, very, very educated guess as to what they were and what they did.
Right. So here's my thing. If back then, in the Paleolithic age, when you had I hope I'm saying that correct age.
Paleolithic, I think that's right.
No,
yeah,
I also hope that it's the right time period I'm thinking about.
Okay, well,
if not,
a time period in history. Don't worry,
yeah, okay.
We'll get it.
Okay, a time period in history back when the cavemen and women were back then. Okay, they were still kind of more so hairy from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because from what I understand, when they dug up bones from back then, because they had dug them up,
right?
They said that they were literally descendants from monkeys because of the fact that they had the structure and the bone structure of a monkey.
But essentially, like, bone structure, I don't think solidifies it. Like,
No, I don't think it does either. But in the same thing, the only thing that would technically solidify that is if they go in as far as going into the bone, getting DNA from the bone, and then comparing it to a DNA of a monkey.
right. Well, here, let me read some of this article. There are several lines of evidence for evolution. This include the fossil record, homology, and genetics, among others. However, there are some stock objections against these evidences. As an example, the fossil record is criticized because it is gappy, and there seem to be gaps in the record where the intermediate and transitional species, i.e. the species linking older ones with new ones, are missing. And while it is a valid scientific objection, scientists have been able to identify various intermediate links. Famous examples include the Tiktaalik. This was an important discovery as it linked sea animals with land ones by having various properties of both. Yada yada yada, yada yada yada.
So basically, that's what it's saying is technically the reason for evolution is because when you have like land animals and sea animals, or you get something like isn't the killer whale part mammal? No.
The killer whale is a mammal, isn't it?
Yeah, killer whale is a mammal if I remember correctly. And then you have, but it lives in the sea. It swims, but it comes up to the surface to breathe.
To breathe air. Yep.
Yeah. And then you have stuff like dolphins and stuff. That's where you get the whole thing of interspecial relationships.
Yeah. I'll read a little bit more from here. It seems that the central concern in the debate on evolution in Islam is the position of Adam and more broadly human beings. It is mentioned in the Quran that Adam was created in the best of molds, that he was fashioned by God himself, and that he was made a vice regent, I think they mean to say, a vice regent of God on earth. This suggests that Adam and his offspring have an elevated status above the rest of creation, and how can such an honored and noble entity have been produced from random process and imperfect ancestors? Furthermore, Adam is referred to as the parent of humanity in the Quran, as well as in Hadith literature, which seems to imply that Adam was the first human being without any parents of his own. And thus, on one hand, we have the Quran and Hadith literature, which points towards creation narrative, in which Adam is created and placed on Earth. And on the other hand, we have the stepwise evolutionary pathway of the Darwinian narrative. These two seem to be irreconcilable, at least after a cursory reading. In this particular territory, one can see various hermeneutic principles and procedures to either reject or accept evolution. From the side of the advocates, examples include interpreting the story of Adam and his fall as a metaphor, reinterpreting Adam as kind of a symbolic figure, and not even suggesting that Adam and Eve were not the first of mankind, However, just because these have been suggested as interpretations, this does not mean that they are valid interpretations. Attention to the Arabic of the Quran suggests that there is nothing in the relevant verses to suggest that there are metaphorical indicators or idioms which can render non-literal readings. On the other side, some have rejected evolution through scripture because of Adam and mankind's noble status. So, let's see.
But here's the thing, though. The way that's reading is basically saying the way that Adam was created was he was created through interspecial relationships. Is what there seems like to be a hint towards something like that beforehand, because I'm reading between the lines, or trying to. Okay.
From what I can read here is, from what I'm understanding, from what they're trying to say, is that there's two ways of looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Either the story of Adam is, like, as they were saying, is metaphorical and is like a lesson for us, and so he's not really the first of mankind, or he is the first of mankind, and we have like that humanity has basically been set upon a plane different from others, which we have. Honestly, if we look throughout the entire animal kingdom, history versus now, right? Humans have always been on the top,
Kind
know,
of,
with-
to an extent, yes.
to an extent, but because of our brain, the brain power that we have as compared to any other animal on this earth is just sets us apart.
Yeah, but you also got to
It's-
remember too. Nowadays, if you look at on the opposite end, nowadays
Mhm.
you have animals that are 10 times smarter than a human.
Are you talking about specifically just monkeys, or there are other
There's
animals?
other animals like dolphins are considered smarter than a human, so are killer whales.
But they can't. But they don't. See, the issue is that
They don't have opposable thumbs; they have fins.
that's not the only issue.
They don't have hands and feet.
That's not the only issue. I mean, obviously that is a big issue,
Yeah.
but like, there's still a gap between what humans are and what dolphins are. Sure, dolphins are smart,
Yeah.
but have they come together and created such a complex society? And I know they have some. I know they have some. I know that. Okay, look. I know they have. Are we saying we're going to find Atlantis at the bottom of the sea and it's been built by dolphins?
Hey, you
all of
never
them?
know. It's a possibility.
All right, Angel. I'll let you have that one.
Like I mean, you never know. I mean, like I said, like there was technically a city of Atlantis. We don't know what happened to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again,
Dolphins drag it under the sea and claim it for themselves.
I'm not saying that, but I mean, what I'm saying is you never. I mean, it could be under the sea, and there could be a society that, fish and dolphins or whatever made. I don't know. We don't know. But they do have some kind of chain of command because there is always an alpha dolphin and an alpha whale that they go and
Well,
follow through.
most animal societies have that, yes.
Yes.
But it's still not as complex as human society and human creation, okay? So there's still
because
quite...
we always have to be complex because we're fucking wanting to be special. I don't know.
Look, if we were running off of base instincts, we'd probably be in the same boat as those things right now,
Yeah.
as those other animals. The thing is that we have, I think they call it like higher brain function, right? Sure, they're intelligent, but they still follow what their instincts and what their, like nature tells them to do.
Yeah.
They are not thinking outside the box. They're not thinking for themselves, in a sense, right? They're still following.
As far as we know, yeah, we don't.
As far as we know, okay, I'll say that. As far as we know, from everything we have seen and researched, they do not have this ability for higher brain function at the moment.
Right.
Okay, are you happy now?
So.
I'm looking at some people who are apparently it has a list of people who are like scholars and why they either reject, accept, or accommodate the theory of evolution.
But.
So rejection. There are missing links in the fossil record. The form of a human is fixed. Transformation of species inherently incorrect. Adam was a special creation. It cannot be part of evolution. Theistic evolution fits both the data and... Okay, so this is an acceptance. Theistic evolution fits both the data and Adam's creation story. The story of Adam is allegorical. The story of Adam must be allegorical because evolution is a fact. The story of Adam is allegorical because the Quran, unlike the Bible, does not use proper names. Adam refers more to a concept than an individual. I don't know how that comes around, but okay.
Well, if you think about it, from what I'm going back to the religious side things. Okay?
Sure.
If you think about it, if you remember correctly, like the whole thing of the scenario of knowing when Jesus' birthday was, there's no evidential proof that his birthday was on the 25th of December.
Right.
And because of that is because back then they thought of that as a pagan thing, so you weren't able to celebrate your birthday being as it was a pagan thing.
Right.
So here, that goes back into the religious thing of the reason why they're saying that is because sometimes, if I remember correctly, knowing somebody's actual name was considered a pagan thing.
What?
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't quote me on it, because I'm pretty
Okay.
sure most of this stuff is relying on the fact that if you do certain things, it was pagan. It wasn't of God, so don't do it, kind of thing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, I can see the birthday thing, because even in Islam, we're not really meant to celebrate birthdays to a certain degree.
No.
It's not something to be celebrated.
Yeah.
We know we have recorded history on when the Prophet was born. It's a national holiday, but it's not like a Christmas or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of Muslim countries make it a national holiday, and people and scholars are really careful to tell people, hey, don't get carried away with this, you know,
Yeah.
because this is wrong, that you're idolizing. You know, the Prophet is to be idolized, but not in this way. Idolize with his deeds, follow his example, but don't celebrate his birthday for some weird reason. You know,
Yeah.
there's nothing to celebrate there.
Right.
You just follow his teachings and his words, right?
Right. But because of the whole integration of, oh, we're going to integrate some of the pagan stuff into Christianity to convert them,
Hmm.
then we have Christmas and Easter.
Yeah, well, who gives a fuck about integration, am I right?
I mean,
You know, Islam exists as its own, like, I'm gonna make us sound like arrogant and aloof bastards right now, but Islam exists as like a self-proof religion.
yeah.
You know, it doesn't need any frills, it doesn't need any flowers to disguise it. It is the unadulterated truth, and you will be hit in the face with it. And so you will either believe it or disbelieve it. It's not going to change for you. It's not going to change for anybody.
Right.
You have to see the truth in it, and then you have to follow and act upon it.
Right.
It's not going to, you know. I remember Bark asked this question while we were playing Overwatch that one time, and he was like, "Why does Islam seem to have gotten so intolerant recently?" And I'm like, "Islam hasn't changed, my friend. Islam has not changed. The world has changed around Islam."
Right. And then you get into the Christianity has changed, Catholic, like, you know, all of the religious things under Christianity has changed because everybody feels the need that,
Because they want to appease everybody. They want to bring everybody in.
right, and they want to, you know, bring everybody and anybody they can, and when they don't, they throw a fit. It's like they're throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do what they wanted you to do, so they're going to throw a temper tantrum and plaster that shit all over social media because you didn't do what they told you to do. And
Islam gives you all the tools to work with, and it's not going to change for what you want.
right.
The idea is total submission to God's will, and you know, supposedly the other religions are about that, but no, it's not really.
Right.
Islam, the very meaning of the word is to surrender yourself.
Right.
The very meaning of Islam is to surrender yourself to what, do you ask? To the one and only God. Am I sounding like a mega church pastor right now?
No.
Okay, good. Then I'm doing my job.
So,
Like, you have to you that's why when we talk about like fasting or doing certain things for the pleasure of God, or you know, like giving up your desires or stuff, right? People will ask, well, what does God need with your sacrifice? God doesn't need jack shit.
right. You're doing
He does not need a goddamn thing from us.
Right. You're doing
We
it
need
for
him.
yourself.
We're doing it to save ourselves.
Right. You're doing it to save yourself from yourselves, what that is.
Right. self-control is always good.
That's just as
So
bad
this
as...
idea... Sorry, go ahead.
That's like saying you're an addict. Like, say if you're addicted to spending money or addicted to, like, me, for instance, smoking.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I'm not addicted to you, Angel. I don't know.
No. What I'm saying is like me, for instance, being addicted
Right.
to
No, I
something.
understand. No, I understand. I was making a
Giving
joke.
up something like that is basically trying to make yourself better or to cut back on something or to, you know, slow your, like, almost like saying, hey, pump the brakes, you're doing too much, you need to slow down.
Right.
And so you could take a step back and be like, okay, I'm spending too much money, or I'm smoking too much, I'm doing this, which I've been noticing that on myself, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm going through like a pack of cigarettes a day, and I didn't used to do that. It's just,
That's
it's a bit much.
Ooh, yeah, that's a little bit.
Yeah, because I remember, like, I think it was not last year. I think it was last year, or the year before. The year before, a pack of cigarettes would last me like a week or two. But now I'm literally going through a pack of cigarettes a day, and it's like, I need to pump the brakes a little bit, and slow the shit down, you know, cut back, you know, stop smoking so much.
To get some of that Nicorette gum or whatever.
Yeah, good luck. That shit don't work. But anyway.
You need to find your own way of kind of holding yourself.
Finding something like a different outlet of, hey, I need a cigarette. I need to, you know, find something to do, so I'm not going to
just go work out.
No. But basically,
hey, that's more beneficial. No.
I mean, it can be, but with my fucked ankles, that's not the best idea. Anyway.
Water exercise. Sorry, go ahead. I'm going to stop. I'll stop.
Anyway, basically what that's saying is just you need to, like, if you're wanting to cut down on something or, you know, give it up for, like, how many weeks? A month?
A month.
Yeah, give it up for like a month. So that way it becomes a course of habit, so you're not continually doing what you were doing before.
Right.
Is basically what that is to help you help yourself.
Yeah. Well, like the model for Ramadan and what is taught when it's, you know, what is talked about is that it is the most spiritual month of the whole year, the whole Islamic year, right? Mm-hmm. And so within that month, you are to increase your prayers. You are to read more Quran. You are to get closer to your Lord. You are to remove distractions from yourself, whether that be lawful or unlawful, right? Mm-hmm. So if you are married and you have a wife, you're supposed to stay away from sexual activities, at least during the day, right? Because that's the period of fasting.
Wait,
you are supposed to
fasting is only during the daytime, so when the moment the sun goes down, you can eat as much as you want.
Yeah, it's from dawn to dusk. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I do that
every
already.
Day.
Like, fuck.
It's dawn to dusk every day for a month. Is what it is.
I do that already. So
but also no drink for that whole day
fuck
too.
That. I gotta have something to drink during the day.
Right. No drink. No food. No drink. Now the no food, no drink part is supposed to put you in a state of reminder, right? Because there are people in this world who are less advantaged than you are.
Yeah.
And you are putting yourself in those shoes voluntarily. And that helps you connect, you know, if you wanted to take it off of like a spiritual level, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're getting reward for this from the Lord, right? Who knows how much? He knows how much, right? Mm-hmm. But essentially what this is designed for you to do in a practical sense is to make you sort of identify or feel for the masses of people who do not have the ability or do not have access to food or drink, you know? Mm-hmm. This is supposed to put you in their shoes and to see how difficult and hard it is to do this. And so it makes you more sympathetic. At the end of Ramadan, you are supposed to spend a certain amount of money and buy bags of rice or of food and distribute it to people who are in need as part of the celebration. It's meant for you to give something back, you know, for doing that kind of putting that stress upon your body it's a way for you to kind of like celebrate and then have other people celebrate with you that this month of hardship is a little strong, but this trial, this month of a little bit of trial, right, is over and you've passed.
Yeah.
And the fasting is the main part, but then there are other things. During the night, you're supposed to pick up your prayer, and you're supposed to like really get on a one-on-one level, you know, with your Lord. You're supposed to read more of the Quran. You're supposed to try and finish the entire Quran at least once during the month. Read from cover to cover.
I hate to say this, but why does it seem like I'm already doing all that already? Like, the only thing I don't not... I mean, I only eat at night, because I sleep I sleep till, like, maybe 11:30. And then I wake up, try to wake myself up, I smoke a cigarette, I drink iced tea, water, or soda, and then I go to work, come home, and then I eat something, and that's usually not till nighttime.
Yeah, and so you can think about it as you're halfway there. The thing that's missing, of course, is the total abstention from food and drink, and then your intention. What intention you have for that? Are you doing it just because that's your daily life, or are you doing it for a reason now? The way that Islam works is it's based off of intention. Your intention is the most important thing. You could be doing the greatest of deeds, but with the most wrong of intentions, and it will not be accepted from you.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing, though. I'm pregnant, so I can't really completely cut off from that.
Right, no.
So,
see, in your case, you'd be exempt.
yeah.
You know, Islamically, you'd be exempt. There's no reason, there's no logical reason for you to fast when you have something that is requiring nutrients within you, you know?
Right.
Like, the life within you is what's most important.
Right. So.
And they talk about that during menstrual cycles for women, you're also exempt. And it's more because you are because of the blood and all of that, you're unclean at that stage.
Yeah.
So that's why also for prayers and stuff, you're supposed to clean yourself, right? If you've had intercourse, then there's a special spiritual cleaning that you do for your whole body to make sure that you are cleansed of that before you go ahead to, do anything religious.
So kind of like a ritual cleaning bath kind of thing.
It is sort of. They call it ghusl, and it's just ghusl is basically comes from.
I'm starting to begin to think that paganism and Islamic are kind of similar too. Because if you think about it.
Well, like religion essentially all religion comes from a similar spot, right?
Yeah.
It's all the belief systems and what you choose to, take as the entity that you worship. That's the problem. That's the issue, right?
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, religion across the world has the same idea. It's worshiping something and working towards something that is not for this world. It's for whatever comes after.
Right.
Supposedly, right?
But like I was saying, the reason why I'm saying that is because when you talked about the special spiritual cleansing after intercourse or whatever to clean your body, there is a thing in paganism. I even do it to this day. Like I was the other day when I was trying to make myself feel better with that headache or a headache. I was doing a ritual bath. Basically putting herbs and stuff into my bathtub, filling it with water, and sitting in it to cleanse myself and get rid of the fever and the headache and
Yeah. See, there's another difference. You don't need any of that stuff. Just water and soap.
Well, yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, but I mean.
No, I understand that. It's something about the human condition, right? Things have to have some sort of value, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's monetary, whether it's spiritual, whether it's this, that, whatever. This thing has to have some sort of value, and then you have to be able to attribute that value to something, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult for us to say, okay, well, I believe in something that I can't see as my Lord, and something that I believe in something in the great out beyond
Yeah.
that is affecting my life and that I must give my life to and my work,
Yeah.
right? Like a lot of times we want something to have, to show, right? Like, okay, this is an object that I can put something towards, I can ascribe some things to this, right?
Right.
It's something physical that I can see. That's where the problem comes in. We have to eliminate that from our mind. That's another thing that comes with like believing in Allah and believing in Islam. It's that you have to remove all of these physical symbols out of your head.
Right.
That's what happened to Judaism. That's what happened to Christianity. They found these symbols that they wanted to attribute like godly nature towards, like Jesus, the cross, even the cross,
Yeah.
all of this stuff, the crucifixion. Like they wanted to take these certain aspects and attribute stuff to those moments to make it something that they could, impress their own beliefs upon and say, okay, well now I have an object of worship that I can see and that I can feel and that I know is real.
Yeah, even though in the Bible it says, "Thou shalt not idealize objects."
Idolize?
Idolize objects, right? Or idolize
Something along that line.
something along that line. Objects or materialistic things of me. I am the one and the one and only.
I would not be surprised if that's what God says.
Yeah. So, but it's something along that lines that it says it in the Bible, but yet people still take a test.
They want to take their cross. They want to have their
the whole thing of the picture of Jesus or the picture of Mary or
right.
or like different statues or like the praying hand thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all materialistic idolizations of
Symbols, yeah.
Symbols of God. That's not God himself. You're taking and using that as a idolization.
You're using that instead.
Yeah, you're using that instead to worship God instead of not having that and just going and quote unquote worshiping your God by himself, which is it even. And then they turn around and get all pissy about it because it's God. It's a thing of God. No, it's not. It's a thing of mankind that you made to represent your God in your eyes. That's not
Yeah. So, like, I have no idea. I'm sure that like polytheism, in a sense, has or paganism, I should say, has different ways of kind of representing these things, right?
Yep. It's the same thing. We have, like, in paganism and polytheism, if I remember correctly, we have the statues.
I don't know. Are they the same? I think they're different, aren't they?
Well, no. It depends, because I know in paganism...
Or is paganism like a type of polytheism?
It's a type of polytheism, if I remember correctly, because of the fact that now, I don't know for sure right offhand, but I know in paganism, when I do my paganism stuff, practice my paganism stuff, I have, with my pagan altar, I have different candles that represent each god that I work with. There's also statues that I have, or either that I have or that I want to get that represent the different gods and deities that I work with, or that I say work with because I don't worship them. I don't quote unquote say, oh, I'm asking them to bring this, this, and this. No, I work with them. They just
provide you like some sort of...
They help provide guidance and provide me with the things and the tools that I need to do what I'm wanting to do.
Right.
And help me to present or go through the intention of what I'm doing.
Right.
Now, with polytheism, I think, if I remember correctly, they have the different statues. They almost kind of do the same thing as Christianity does, but they have like the statues and the altars and stuff for their gods.
Right.
So I think it's more of a thing of everybody wants to have a representation of a god or their god that they worship, instead of thinking, oh, well, I don't have anything of my God, so I'm just gonna, go off strictly belief and be like, you know, I'm going to believe that I believe in my God. I don't need to have materialistic things to do so.
Right.
But mainly, I think that's what happens when you get into the thing of the reason why the cross is there, or the praying hands, or the
Mhm.
things of Jesus, or the Jesus.
Because they need an object to look at.
Yeah, instead of picturing it in your mind's eye or whatever it is,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Like, well,
More of like the
the
physical aspect of it than it is.
right in the Quran, there's stories about Prophet Abraham and the different evidences and the different ways he tried to prove how, how stupid some of these people are for worshiping certain things, right?
Yeah.
So, like for example, sun worshippers, right? Or worshippers of some kind of the heavenly bodies, right?
Yeah.
So the way that it's talked about in the Quran is that Abraham is trying to think in their shoes and trying to, he's like audibly talking to them about this kind of scenario, and that he is putting himself in that situation just to help them understand. Like, he doesn't believe, of course, any of this stuff. He believes in the one true creator, right? So the story goes that he goes to this people who are sun worshippers, or who worship like the sky, the heavenly bodies, right? So he sees, so it's during one of the nights, and he says, okay, all these stars so bright in the sky, these definitely must be my Lord or something, right? He says out loud. Now when the when the sun comes out, then he's like, I don't like things that, if it's an all-powerful God, why does it go away during the day, right? So then he waits another night, and then the moon rises, right? He said, okay, well, that moon, it's great, it's huge, shining in the sky. This must be my Lord. And then the moon sets, the same. And so he says, it can't be a God if it just disappears for half the day, right? And then the sun rises. He's like, this one's the biggest, this one's the greatest, this must be the Lord, right? And then the sun sets. And then he's like, I can't, none of these can be the Lord, because, there's no way that they would just disappear for half the day and be gone. So as a proof of evidence to show these people who kind of like, they lose their way or whatever, like, this cannot be the way that you think, because it doesn't make sense for the whole scenario, right?
Yeah.
Now, the way that you're describing about like your altar and stuff, you said you had experimented, or that you had like researched other religions before, right?
Yes.
And so what you said that, from what I remember, is that you said that when you called out to these specific like deities, they responded to you?
I did not call out to them, they called out to me.
I see. Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because I know that I'm going back into the synchronicities and the different signs and stuff, because
well, like you did things and then
like I would be I'd be going about my normal day minding my own business, and just see certain things that was a consistently popping up or showing its face to me constantly, like throughout like a day. And mind you, it wouldn't be just a day that I would realize this. It would take me like a week and a half.
Right.
So it was like with Loki, for example. There was several days back to back constantly that either shit would come up missing, or I'd be walking and then something would just pop out of nowhere and just make me hysterically laugh. Or stuff would happen throughout the day that would just make me, think, okay, well, this is either a trick, or you know, random stuff would pop up and be like, okay, this has got to be a trick or a hoax, you know, that kind of thing. And I started.
Oh, how? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think you're about to answer what I'm going to ask, but like, how did you come to ascribe this to Loki specifically?
Well, first, what I did was I'd sit there and I'd be like, okay, well, I went and did research to see what what all these synchronicities and, you know, would mean for,
right.
or what refer to as whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, when you Google shit like that, it doesn't pop up with just one god.
Right, you'll go all over the place.
You'll go all over the place, and then you just go down a really big rabbit hole you don't want to go down.
Right.
And so then I was like, okay, you know, then I started thinking to myself, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it clicked because I started, you know, seeing all these different things of somebody, you know, talking about Loki, or Loki was being talked about, or this was being talked about with, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's Loki.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, when I bought a certain candle,
mm-hmm.
I have a candle that represents him on my altar.
Right.
And mind you, I would have never bought this candle, and because of how it was smelled.
Okay.
It wasn't because of the color, because the color's black. Black's my favorite color. We
right.
all know this.
Yeah.
But the smell of the candle, I would not have bought that candle specifically because of that smell. Because that smell, usually 99 times out of 10, would give me a migraine.
Okay.
Because of how, not just because of how strong it was, but because of the fact
you just didn't like it.
I didn't like it. So I went to the store and I was looking to buy more candles for my altar, you know, all that stuff. And I looked and I smelled this candle. I said, that smells good. And then I read it and I was like, that's not what I would normally buy. Why is it, you know? And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, Loki, if this is you telling me, hey, buy this candle, put it on your altar to represent me, let me know. I came home, put it on my altar, lit that fucking thing, and the flame came up to, like, was really freaking huge. I want to say it was, like, maybe 8-9 inches high from the candle itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, that's a Loki. That's Loki's candle. I'm not going to say different.
Okay.
So that's where I came from that. And that's what happened with all the other gods. The only other god that I will say that actually didn't have very many synchronicities to it was Hecate. When I started working with her, she's associated with ravens.
Mm-hmm.
So is Odin.
Right.
But Hecate is also associated with the triple moon goddess. She's also associated with the moon.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, like literally 2 months before I started realizing it was her, I would sit there and I would sleep all throughout the day. Or I would go to bed early, wake up and be extremely fucking tired all day long. And then the moment the moon would come out, during the night, I would be wide the fuck awake, and I couldn't understand why. Didn't understand it, and that's why there for a while my sleep schedule was fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't understand why I was wide awake, and it would only happen when the moon was out at night. Any other time when the moon wasn't out at night, like if you could literally see the moon, I was wide awake. Couldn't understand it. But if the moon wasn't out and you couldn't see it, I was asleep. Like, I would sleep for 2 days straight sometimes. Couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
And then one time, there was a shit ton of ravens outside. Mind you, this was in Arizona. Okay? Ravens are not common in Arizona. Okay?
Okay.
I seen a shit ton of ravens sitting outside the house in the driveway. I'm like, that's not good. I was like, that's either a bad thing, a good thing, or a goddess or God trying to contact me. Because, as a symbolism, having too many ravens can be considered a bad omen.
Right.
And it could be considered meaning death, or something extremely bad's gonna happen to you.
Right.
So, the morning that I found all those ravens in the driveway, I walked outside because I was going to go get the mail. I walked outside. As soon as I opened that door, I walked outside. I was like, the entire driveway looked like it was almost completely full of ravens. And I'm like, what the hell? I turned right back around and walked back in that house. Did not leave it for a week. And Derv, who was the person I was dating at the time, looked at me and goes, why aren't you leaving? I said, I'm not leaving this house. There was a bunch of ravens. I don't know whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. And then one night, I know this probably sounds weird, but
sure.
She literally, it seems like she came to me in a dream
and
told me who she was. And basically almost showed herself to me. So that's how I knew it was her.
Okay.
So, like I said, they came to me. I didn't go to them or call out to them.
Okay.
Now,
so, go ahead.
Now, in polytheistic, polytheistics will say they call out to them. Because that's them, doing sacrificial stuff for them, or, doing the normal thing that they would do in their religion for them. Whereas for me, they called out to me saying, hey, we want to work with you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Right.
So that's why I think that's where the polytheistic and the pagans differ. But it's still kind of the same with the altar and the statues and the representations, but it differs because
it
of
differs
that.
in some okay. So I really do not want to sound like I'm making fun of you or that I'm messing with you.
I know.
So I'm just going to say what I say, and I want you to understand that I'm not meaning to offend you, and I'm not meaning to just make you sound like you're a lunatic or something, right?
I know. We've talked about this kind of stuff.
Yes.
So I know, yeah.
I know, but you've gone a bit more in depth about it now. Yeah. So what this sounds like to me, okay, from what I believe in and from what I understand, is that something's messing with you. Not any deity, not any god, not anything like that, but some joker from somewhere is just poking fun at you.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
That some, when I've talked about jinn before, right?
Yeah.
That some jinn has somehow attached itself to you and is just poking fun at you. In my mind, that is what comes to my mind initially.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, and mind you, please explain what you think of as a jinn in your religion.
Because so a jinn,
because I'm pretty sure people are gonna think, oh, it's the jinn as in a genie or one of those things off Supernatural. That's not
right.
That's not.
It's not what it is. So go back to original creation stuff, right? Real brief. God created two beings or two races that have the ability to think for themselves, right? It is the humans and it is the jinn. So there are two different races of people. The humans that live on the earth and the jinn, who the best way that I can describe it is it's an alternate dimension of some kind. But with both races,
what most people would quote unquote think of as the spiritual, spiritual realm, yeah, spirit realm.
Right. The humans are made from clay, and the jinn are made from smokeless fire. They are, they are beings that are created from fire. We can't see them. They are around us, and we can't see them. Some of them have the ability to influence our world. And that's why we talk about that we don't believe in ghosts, but we do believe in jinn. And so if there's some sort of weird, quote-unquote, paranormal activity that's not staged, that's not influenced by people or anything like that, because people get hella superstitious about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Angel, but people get hella superstitious about this kind of stuff. And we'd say that this is a jinn that is messing with you.
Yeah.
Now, I'd say that your case is a bit more than others.
Yeah.
Because it's not some ghost that's just, like poking at you.
Yeah.
I'd say this is something a bit more whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because for dream type things, right?
Yeah.
We believe that if you see the prophet in a dream, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? Or any of, I can't remember if it's just him or if it's any of the prophets, but if you see the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him specifically, that is him.
Mm-hmm.
That is not, like in any other scenario, anyone else that you dream of or that you make, that shows up in your dreams, that could be, a jinn, again, messing with you.
Yeah.
So
from your religion, in your point of view.
Right, from the perspective that I'm seeing, and from what Islam says, that anything that is not the Prophet, peace be upon him, that shows up in your dream, and if it seems to be quite intentional in saying, hey, I am this person, let's talk, or believe in me, or this, or whatever,
Right.
weird stuff that comes in, that is jinn. That is not that actual person or being,
Right.
is what I believe in.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
With me, we all know.
Yes.
We all know I'm pagan, right? We all know
Yes.
this.
Yes.
We also all know that I'm clairvoyant. I'm also clairaudient. So
You've talked about it before.
yeah. So I'm one of those type of people that can see and hear spirit.
Okay.
Like, mind you, it happens when it wants. I can't flip it on. I can't flip it off. At the flip of the switch, it just happens.
Right.
And I'm also one of those people that I do have tarot decks. I have two different tarot decks. I also have an oracle deck. And mind you, most of the time when I've done those readings on people, it's been almost 100% accurate every time. But now, when it comes to the spiritual aspect of things, I take what happens with that sometimes with a grain of salt. Now, because of the fact that I'm pagan, at the time, I wasn't really looking for people, deities to work with.
Right.
Because I was told I can't remember who it was, but somebody told me that in order to work with deities, they don't necessarily have to call out to you or choose you.
Right.
You have the option, but it's more so better and beneficial if they choose you, whereas you would, vice versa.
Yeah.
So when I seen that, it took me like 2 or 3 days to come to terms with that. Because I was questioning it myself, because like I said, I'm clairaudient and I'm clairvoyant.
Right.
So with stuff like that, I've come, before I claimed myself as being pagan, I was Christian, and I have come across dark entities, I've come across evil entities, I've come across lost entities, I've come across residual entities, I've come across multitude of entities, spirits or ghosts, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
I've come across a multitude of those. And mind you, I've been clairaudient and clairvoyant since I was like 12. But at the time, I didn't know what it was. I just
Okay.
thought it was a normal thing.
Yeah.
Because at the time, it was coming almost daily. So, but like I said, I've gotten to the point where I can differentiate between, because I've had it
You
for
just
so
encountered so much of it.
yeah. And at one point, I remember when I was, I want to say 11 or 12 years old,
Mm-hmm.
when I was claiming myself to be Christian. Mind you, I don't know whether or not this was something screwing with my head or not. But
Mm-hmm.
when I first started to encounter being pagan, because I was doing the, oh, I'm questioning my religion kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I started dabbling in buying witchy books and, you know, writing spells down and all that stuff. And my dad at the time was very heavy into Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me and told me that I needed to stop because I was doing a sin. I was doing wrong against God. And then because of the fact that my dad was very heavy into Christianity, it put the fear, quote unquote, fear of God in me.
Right.
So I said, oh, I'm doing stuff wrong. Bad stuff's happening. I need to stop.
Right.
So I stopped and I told my dad, I said, well, how do I get into God's good graces again and get his favor? And he goes, well, you need to hit your knees and pray and ask him for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Me being as young as I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I no sooner did that night, I woke up to a very bright light in a very dark room.
Mm-hmm.
In my dream, telling me they forgave me.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, it was an extremely bright light.
Yes.
I was dead asleep. I literally thought somebody took and fucking shined a flashlight in my eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be an asshole. Like, I was young, not thinking anything. I was dead asleep in my bed, nice and comfy cozy, and some asshole, it literally felt like some asshole come in and shine this extremely high beam fucking thing off of a car in my eyeballs and was like, I forgive you. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And I woke up out of a dead sleep because of it.
Yeah.
And I started crying because I didn't know what was going on. I was freaking out.
Right.
So that's where I took that with at the time, I thought it, I told my dad about it, and my dad being who he was like, oh, that's God telling you he forgave you. He came to you in your sleep. You have a gift. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? I don't know what that was. Like, it scared the shit out of me.
That doesn't explain anything.
Right. I said, that don't explain shit to me. Like, why would he come specifically to me in my sleep to wake my ass up, bawling my eyes out, telling me he forgave me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why specifically only me? Like, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's why I took something like that with a grain of salt, and that's where I would think, maybe in your religion, a djinn was fucking with me because of that.
Right.
But, like I said, I take all that stuff with a grain of salt because I've gone through it so much.
Yeah.
And seeing that stuff so much nowadays to the point where it's like, okay, well, I need to, sit back and be like, okay, I set limits and boundaries with it all.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, then I'm going to be extremely drained and extremely tired and extremely cranky and pissy all the time.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say, right? I really don't know much about it because it's something, when we talk about stuff like black magic or stuff to do with jinn, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is something that is considered to be quite dangerous in Islam. You don't want to go near that. It's not beneficial for you, and it's not beneficial for the jinn who helps you. It's just not good all around.
Yeah.
Those people can be extremely dangerous because they have the power of a jinn or something.
Yeah.
So I have no grounds in saying this. I have no research to back it up. What comes to mind is that you could be just more attuned to this, right?
Yeah.
There would be people, of course, in this world who would be more attuned to this kind of thing. Now, I still don't agree that this would be like some sort of deity coming to prove themselves to you, according to what I believe, right?
Yeah.
When I talk about stuff with like jinn or with devils or with anything to do with that kind of like the quote unquote occult, right?
Yeah.
Every time we start reading a chapter of the Quran, every time we do anything, like we start something to do with religion, we start by saying, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. When you say A'udhu billah, means I seek refuge from God, from Allah, min ash-shaytanir rajim, from Satan, right? So you start with that, and that's supposed to be a net of protection, right? There are a bunch of more supplications that you can make and prayers that will, behave as a shield to you, a spiritual shield in a sense. And so.
Well, see, here's my thing though.
Sure.
When I was growing up, in Christianity, while I was saying my prayers, I don't know if you ever were told this, but I know as growing up, we do the "Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep" kind of thing.
One more time.
It's "Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take."
Yes.
So that's kind of like asking for protection, but but as a pagan, when I go around my house, I smudge. I use a sage, I smudge.
Right.
Now, be it a sage wrapped in lavender or rosemary or, desert sage, or I do sage.
Whatever herb it might be.
I also do a Palo Santo stick every once in a while, that kind of thing.
Yep.
But that's almost, and then as I'm doing it, I say, "Goddess of gods, protect this place, remove all negativity from the space." And I go through my entire apartment, and that's what I say in every corner of every room when I do it. That's the pagan's version of protecting a sacred space.
Right.
And when I was into Christianity with my dad and all them, we would say prayers. We would ask God for protection to protect. I used to do this thing of before I would say amen, I'd be like, "God, please protect my family and friends and everybody in this household.
Yeah.
Be it living or dead. Please, be it living, please protect them and watch over them with the blood of, and protect them with the blood of Christ."
Yeah.
And then I'd go, "Amen."
Yeah.
But that was when I was a Christian, and that's what I would do every night when I went to sleep. I used to do that shit religiously. I used to say it every night.
So,
going to bed.
Yeah. So I would say essentially what we have going on here is that every one of us has the same idea, right?
Yeah.
Because we all want protection, and we all seek protection from a higher power, right?
Right.
Whatever it is.
Right.
Now, again, from my point of view, right? The thing is that you've not been asking the right people, essentially. You've not been asking the right people. If you were going to look at it from my perspective, right? Jesus is not Lord. Jesus is not God, and Neither are any of those other deities, according to what I believe in.
Yeah.
Neither any of those other spirits or deities that you believe in.
Yeah.
But you just haven't been asking the right the right person for
Yeah,
protection.
from your point of view, though. But
From my point of view, right? From my point of
yeah,
view.
from Christianity's point of view, God and Jesus is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They're all in one person.
That really does not make a lot of sense.
I know, but here's the thing. I know it doesn't make sense because in
Yeah.
the Bible, it says that God is the Father, and Jesus was his Son.
Mm-hmm.
But God was also the Holy Spirit, and so was Jesus. Which makes absolutely no fucking sense to me whatsoever, because you're like, okay, well, God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit are all as one. No, they're not. They're completely
They're
different.
three entities.
Yeah.
But then there's still one thing at the same time.
Right. And that's why I'm like, but that's what they say in Christianity. I'm pretty sure that's
Right.
probably what they say in Catholicism, too.
Right.
And it's like, they're three separate things.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact, because I went to a Catholic church one time, and I know for a fact they do Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And they do the whole thing of, doing the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit,
Right, I know.
shoulder thing,
Yeah. I've seen it, because,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in it, but, my mom's family, my mom is the one who converted, but my mom's family is still Christian, and, like, the immediate family is not really, it's more of like agnostic at this point, but we have relatives, like, I've been to funerals where they do, like, the whole ceremonies and all that stuff, and so I've seen that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then the whole getting on your knees before the church thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like I said, they're three separate entities. They're not one being. If
Mhm.
they're supposed to be praying to God, pray to God. Why are you making us pray to three different entities? Thinking it's one when it's really not, but
Yeah.
and
If you still have this urge, if you still have this sense, to go out and continue to explore other religions. I know that's a big if,
yeah.
but I would highly encourage you to either get a copy of the Quran or, like, an English copy. Sure, it's translated different, but
Yeah.
they fact check it, they make sure that it's right.
Yeah.
Or watch people who know what they're talking about. I can only speak so much about it,
Right.
but if you see the people who have the knowledge and they speak about it, and you can ask specific questions like, okay, these things, what are these things? What are these synchronicities? And it all really depends on who you meet.
Yeah.
Right? Like, some people might blow it off and say, okay, well, you're just seeing things, and that's not the right way to say it.
No. Yeah, but like I said, no, when I was doing the whole Christianity thing, and before I actually finally said, was like, you know what, no, I'm pagan, fuck this.
Mhm.
Like, mind you, I already knew I was clairvoyant. When I had my
Right.
oldest daughter, I figured out she was clairvoyant and
Okay.
clairaudient. She could see and hear. The reason why
Mhm.
I knew that is because she was like, I want to say 2, almost 2.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, everybody knows children under the age of 5 are completely innocent because you have to teach them the rights and wrongs and do's and don'ts and yes and no, that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're more susceptible to that than they would be afterwards.
Right.
So she was almost 2, and she was sitting there in my bedroom, and I looked at her, and mind you, I already knew I was clairvoyant, and I could already see the spirit playing with her. And I was just, questioning her to see what she was doing.
Mhm.
And I said, well, what? And I looked at her, I was like, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm playing with my new friend. I said, last I checked, your new friend wasn't a man who was dead. And she goes, he's not dead, he's alive, he's right here, his name is Dan. I said, okay. And mind you, this quote-unquote spiritual person named Dan has
Mhm.
followed my kids throughout the years.
Mhm.
And the reason I know this is because I don't know whether it was following them or me specifically, because when I was with Derv, his daughter Luna used to talk about a guy named Dan in her bedroom all the time.
Mhm.
And that's one of the reasons why I was smudging the house constantly, almost religiously,
Yeah.
because of that.
Yep.
And I haven't seen nor heard hide nor tail from Dan
From
since.
Dan, freaking Dan.
Right, from Dan since. But there was, like, I haven't seen or heard nothing about Dan since for like 2 years now, almost. Since, like, before I moved out of Derv's house to Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's about, it'll be almost 3 years now, Jesus. But
So, are you gonna say that you already kind of explored Islam as an option, or you didn't?
I talked to somebody who was Islamic
Mm-hmm.
and looked into the Quran thing, and I talked to them about it, but
Yeah.
I don't want to say I explored it fully,
Mm-hmm.
but I explored basically the gist and the basics of it. But
Right.
then again, the person I was talking to probably wasn't the best person anyway, because they were just exploring it and getting into it.
I
And
get you.
it was a guy who I was wanting to try to date, who I later found out was an idiot.
Yeah, I'm totally interested too.
Right. Who I later found out was a complete and total fucking moron, and he was, yeah.
Okay.
So, but, I did question it and look into it a little bit, not fully, but.
Yeah. I encourage you to give it another college try.
Good luck on that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah,
I don't know. There
yeah.
might come a time I might explore options at some point, but I don't
Yeah.
think that's going to be anytime soon.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is that you have to be open to it first, right?
Yeah.
All this amount of talking that I'm doing, whether I'm trying to actually convince you to convert or not, it's up for debate, you know.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where no matter what kind of crap comes out of my mouth, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to sway your opinion unless you are open to it.
Right.
If you are actively kind of like, okay, well, maybe I think I need to do something different, right?
Right.
That feeling should come from within, and no one
should
no one-
influence it from outside.
not no one should. I mean, of course, no one should, but no one can. No one would really be able to influence you
Yeah.
unless, like, you had a crush on some dude for some reason, you know.
No. Yeah, no. I learned my lesson on that one quite a few times. I'm at this point where it's like, I'm not gonna do that no more.
Right.
So I've gotten to the point where I've hit that stage in my life where it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that dumb shit no more.
Yeah, it has to be from your own want of trying to figure out what's the truth and what's right and what's wrong.
Right. So, but I mean, everybody has their own opinion of what's right and what's wrong to begin with.
It's true. It's true. The thing for Islam, right? When I talk about this and I want to make a case about this, right?
Hold on. First, before you do that, I'm gonna say something because
Sure.
Back to what we were just talking about.
Sure.
Everybody, we were saying, everybody has their own opinions about what's right and wrong, and we all know what opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. I'm just saying, like.
No, I agree.
And granted, yeah, there's not very many people. It's a very rare case that somebody doesn't have an asshole, but I mean.
Okay, I get it, Angel.
I'm just saying, like. It's one way or another, like literally.
Say whatever you want. No,
Yeah.
I'm like you in this situation. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll talk about it. I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get into nitty gritty, I'll try and get nitty gritty with it and figure it out. But you know,
Right. It's just it's one of those things of literally like when we do these podcast things and we do these discussions, it's literally our own personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not trying to persuade anybody. We're not trying to, sway them one way or the other.
Yet.
No. We're not doing that. It's,
No, we're not.
Yeah, it's literally our own personal opinions and views on things. And,
Yeah.
some of it might be well, hopefully most of it might be factual.
Hopefully a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
Who knows what chunk, but hopefully a good chunk of it is factual.
Right. Other parts of it is hearsay or stuff that we've been told or heard, or other parts are stuff that we look up on Google, which is kind of factual to an extent.
from the right source.
Not necessarily from the right source, but
if it's from the right source, it might be factual.
Yeah. It's a Google lookup, so you never know.
Yeah.
It's as bad as trying to Google your symptoms of how you're not feeling well.
Jesus
and
Christ.
You end up getting cancer somehow or some shit through looking it up on Google. So, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that the thing with Islam and the reason, like, I feel like if I wasn't if I didn't believe as hard as I did, right? Then who cares what the fuck, I'm not going to talk about it, right? But the only reason that I put this idea forward is that, and granted, I do watch this from other people, right? And so to a certain extent, I have gotten this idea from people who I watch. But, in my own life, after watching these kind of things, I try to justify it, right?
Yeah.
I try to make sense of it, and we all do, right? Everyone does this kind of thing. But they talk about that Islam is a self-proving. It proves itself as the truth.
Yeah.
That at a certain degree, there is no denying the fact that this is what's right, right?
Yeah.
Now, again, that could be just something that I've been made to believe by just watching all of these people. But the thing then, if at that point you don't believe what the people say, right? That then should encourage you to go and look at the book. Now, you might approach the book right away saying, okay, well, I have no idea if this is God's word or not. It could just be all bullshit, right?
Yeah.
The idea should be that when you read it, and when you read it with understanding, and you get you get the information and everything from it, is that it should be plain to you. It should be obvious to you. If you have understood it, if you have an open mind and an open heart, you should be able to understand that this is the truth.
Right.
Like, it's not, that's why the person has to come to their own conclusion about it, Because I can say it's God's word all I want. You're not going to believe me.
Right.
Not necessarily anyway.
Yeah.
So unless you read it, and then you have to see the evidence and the knowledge and the science within it.
Right.
Because it's not just fables, and it's not just prophetic stories. There's science, there's law, there's life. There's all contained within the book.
Right.
So it might take it might be like a bit of a read, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, of course.
With my busy schedule.
Hey, look, Ramadan's coming up. I'm willing every day, every night to sit down here and read it.
To me.
Sit down and read it to you.
You're gonna read me a bedtime story, Alan.
Straight up, I will. I'll read it in the Arabic, and if you have questions, you can just stop me and
I'll
ask.
be like, English, please.
English, please.
English.
What could be better is you could download the app on your phone.
Oh, my phone has got no memory left on that motherfucker. It's stored on storage.
Yeah, but I have an app on my phone for it. I do want to buy a paper copy.
Yeah.
Just to have a paper copy of the Quran.
Or what we could do is we can exchange Bible stories. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I have the Wiccan Bible right here.
Oh, you have the Wiccan Bible? Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Look, I need to complete reading the Quran the whole for once in the month anyway, so might as well.
Yeah, we'll exchange Bible stories. I don't know if it's
Sure.
actually got a. No, it just
Well-
this has just it's almost like it's a regular book. It's got just says what about Wicca? What is Wicca? The 8 Sabbaths. The 5 sacred elements. Yeah, we can do this. You read some of yours to me, and I'll read some of mine to you.
Comment down below if you want us to go through with this.
Oh God! And then we'd have to record this shit.
Hey, I'm down.
Hey, you know what? Whatever. We'll do it. We'll do it. Fuck it.
I'll read you all 604 pages of the Quran.
Oh, see, mine only has 300. No, it only has 364. I think. Hold
Okay.
on, wait. Because at the back it's got the acknowledgments and then you got the index. So hold on, let me actually physically go over here and figure it. Because 390 is when it starts. Okay, 389 pages.
Okay.
Mine will
You
probably.
can pick your choicest of stories.
It doesn't really have stories. I'll just go page by page.
Okay.
I mean, if you.
One page for every 2 of my pages. Is that what it is?
I mean, shit. Last time I'm already on the actual reading. I was only on page 26, but that's because got distracted by something else.
I got you.
But it also has the Wiccan Ride, the prophecy and philosophy and ethics, and
Yeah. I will say that if you're gonna have us do that, it might be better to have us like in a private chat so that we don't get into like what we'll do, we'll get the group of people who actually want to partake in this, right?
Right.
If it's not just you and me,
Yeah.
grab some friends, hang out.
Be like, hey, yeah, we're just gonna sit here, read.
Let's
each
read the
other's-
religious books. Let's read the book, man.
Oh my God! And you know what I just realized? If we do that, then Bark would probably pop off with the Bible. Although no, he's agnostic. We could
Yeah.
have somebody.
I don't know.
pop
We
up
don't
with
have
the
any. We
actual
don't have.
Bible, the
I don't think
Christian
we-
Bible.
I don't think we have any Bible thumping Christians in this group, do we?
I don't think we do. No. I mean, we have Ben. He's Catholic, but I don't think he's Bible thumping Catholic, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm down to read it, man.
Yeah. Here we go.
I don't know. See, here's the thing. The way that I read it is be recitation, so I have some melodic quality to my voice.
Oh,
I don't know if that's going to
actual
show.
narrator, storyteller.
No, not narration. No,
Oh.
like I could read a piece right now if you want to get the idea.
Okay, go for it. Just give
But,
us
I don't-
a taste or a hint of it.
Yeah, I'll give you the first. I'll give you the first chapter. It's short.
Okay.
It's literally called the opening. It's called the opening of the book.
Well, wait, do we really want to do that right now, or do you want to wait?
Well, you want to taste, don't you?
I mean, we can, but I mean, are you gonna?
It does not. It does not lose to repeat the opening. It's short.
Okay.
It's not. It's not
okay.
very long.
Okay, go ahead.
I will say that the next chapter is like I don't know. It's like 100-something pages by itself. So
Jesus.
yeah.
Lord, I'm
But the first chapter we read it 5 times a day, every day for every prayer. It's very well drilled into our heads. So I don't know if it's going to carry through Discord or not because of the melodic quality of it. But we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Yeah, it started to cut out a little bit towards the end, just fine.
Yeah, if I hold the note, then it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think mine the Wiccan one has.
Well, I think I'm sure if it has rhyme, I mean, you don't have to recite it in such fashion, but
Yeah.
that's the way that I've been taught, and that's the way most people, if not everybody, recites the Quran is in that melodic tone.
Yeah. Well.
Don't call it singing, because it's not singing.
No, I'm not saying it's.
Because there are people who are like, it's kind of like singing. And I'm like,
No.
yes and no. It's not really singing. It's recitation, is what it is. You're
Right.
reciting it in a sense.
Right. Well.
But that's generally how I've been taught to read it. So,
Yeah.
do you want to know the translation of this first chapter?
Sure.
So I started with I already told you this one. I started with A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, and then Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of God, in the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most compassionate.
Yeah.
And you say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to the Lord, praise be to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. Not just one world, all the worlds.
Yeah.
Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the all-merciful and the most compassionate. Maliki Yawmiddin, ruler of the day of judgment. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. You alone we worship, and from you we seek help. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. The path of those whom you have bestowed your grace, not of those who have incurred your anger, nor of those who have gone astray. So it's a praise of God and a prayer in itself in like 6 short verses or 7 short verses.
Yeah.
And so you say it at the beginning of each prayer every time, 5 times a day. It's like one of the most I think it is the most repeated chapter in the Quran.
Yeah, I think this one's not actually like stories. This is more so of like telling you what things are about.
Like a guidebook kind of thing?
Kind of, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you can find some good Wiccan stories on good old Google.
Well, I do know in the back part of this, it talks about King Arthur, I think.
Great.
Yeah, hang on.
More Arthurian legend. I love it.
Yeah, King Arthur. And the elements of partnership between goddess and god are seen in the Arthurian legends and wicked interpretations of them. Yeah, the Arthurian cycle.
Yeah, the next chapter is Surat al-Baqarah, which means chapter of the cow. And no, it's not 100 pages. It's 49 pages, but it is the longest chapter in the Quran.
Yeah.
And it has the longest verse in the Quran, a full page. One verse, a full page.
Yeah, well, what I could do is, so seeing you did that, I could probably maybe... Shit, I forgot I even have a witchy corner in this fucking thing. Hold up.
Well, what did you think? First impressions.
I mean...
Okay. Not impressed, are you?
No, I mean, it doesn't matter, honestly.
Are you moved by the word? No. I'm not gonna ask any of that kind of stuff.
No. Don't ask that. That's just...
What?
That'll...
Is there something wrong?
No. I mean, I'm trying to find the one... Because it has the Wiccan Ride in there, but it doesn't have the full thing of it. It just has what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Or describing, quote-unquote, what it's about. Because it talks about the Wiccan Ride, and it says, it harm none, do thy will. But...
Yeah, pretty soon here I'll have to cut off for the night. It's 2:30. a.m.
Oh
and I have
god.
work tomorrow.
It's 1:51 here.
If you can find, well, then that means it's almost 3 a.m. for me.
Yeah.
So if you've got your story or whatever, we can listen and then cut off for the night.
Let me go here. Can I? Well, that wasn't what I wanted, what I planned on doing. Okay, you know what? Let's see. Alright. Hopefully I can get it to go bigger. I doubt it. Nope. Okay. Anyway. The Wiccan Ride says, being known as the Council of the Wise Ones.
Mm-hmm.
It says, by the Wiccan law, ye must in perfect love and perfect trust. Live and let live. Fairly take and fairly give.
Mm-hmm.
Cast the circle thrice about to keep all evil spirits out. To bind the spell every time, let the spell be spoke and rhyme. Soft of eye and light of torch. Speak little, listen much. Does soil go by the waxing moon? Sing and dance the Wiccan rune. Wider shins go when the moon doth whine, and the werewolf howls by the dread wolf's bane. When the lady's moon is new, kiss the hand to her 2 times. When the moon rides at her peak, then your heart's desire seek. Heed the north wind's mighty gale, lock the door and drop the sail. When the wind comes from the south, love will kiss thee on the mouth. When the wind blows from the east, expect the new and set the feast. When the west wind blows o'er thee, departed spirits restless be. 9 woods in the cauldron go, burn them quick and burn them slow. Elder be ye lady tree, burn it now and cursed you'll be. When the wheel begins to turn, let the Baltine fires burn. When the wheel has turned to Yule, light the log and let Pan rule. Heed ye flower, bush, and tree, by the lady blessed be. Where the rippling waters go, cast a stone. In truth you'll know. When ye have need, hearken not to others' greed. With the fool no season spend, or be counted as his friend. Merry meet and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart. Mind the threefold law, ye should 3 times bad and 3 times good. When misfortune is enow, wear the blue star on thy brow. True and love ever be useless, thy lovers false to thee. 8 words ye Wiccan ride fulfill, and it harm none, do what ye will.
Nice.
So that's pretty much what that one is. And it's basically not, here's the thing though with that.
Mm-hmm.
Not every person that does Wiccan
Does Wiccan stuff does the same thing.
Yeah.
I believe that.
So I guess it's one of those things that just depends on.
Just depends on who you talk to.
But me as a pagan, I'm the type of person that I don't do the cursing or the baneful magic part of it.
Right.
Because I prefer karma to do my dirty work. But I've also... The only thing I will say karma or cursing word thing I've done is a return to sender. And it's basically one of those things where you do like a cleansing of yourself, like your aura kind of thing. Or what everybody's calling an egg cleansing. And you basically do the cleansing and then put like different herbs and stuff to spice it up a little bit. And you mix it all in and then you dump it down the toilet and send it back.
Gotcha.
Which is basically an egg cleansing. So, but what I usually do with that is I usually take the egg, rub it all over my body to get, you know, like the essence or whatever. And you can basically, you have to read the egg. It has to be a clear jar. And then when you've read it, to see what it is, there's certain things in it. After you have to let the water and the egg be at room temperature. It can't be cold. It can't be hot.
Gotcha.
So basically, when you read the egg, it'll tell you whether or not you have an evil eye on you, or if somebody's speaking ill will intentions towards you, or somebody around you is speaking ill on you, or because the way I believe it is, or the way we believe it is words are spells. So if you're speaking ill will on somebody behind their back, or talking to somebody else about someone and speaking ill will on that person, that's basically you putting bad intentions on that person.
Right. Similar concept exists, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so pretty much when you're doing that and you do the egg cleanse, it within the egg webbing or whatever, it'll tell you. It'll basically show you if somebody's speaking ill will on you, somebody close to you is speaking ill will on you. It just depends on how close it is to the egg yolk, because the egg yolk itself is supposed to represent you. And after you read the egg, then you put like different herbs. Like the things I put in it is garlic powder, cinnamon, red chili flakes, hot sauce, and then I take and do a visualization thing where I look at the cup where the egg's at and I try to visualize me taking my essence back out of it. Because if you don't, and you go to do the return to sender spell and you mix it all up, all that ill will stuff is going to come right back onto you.
I see.
So, basically, in visualizing it, taking your essence out of it, or doing some kind of motion of like, making it seem like you're pulling a hair out of it, is you taking your essence out of it. And then, when you do that, you can then mix all that up together and then dump it down the toilet and not look at it as you're dumping it. Close the lid and flush it, and it's supposed to resend all that negativity and all that ill will back to that person.
Gotcha.
So that's what I do with egg cleansing. I also do an aura cleanse every once in a while. Well, not with crystals, but I try to cleanse myself by using a sage stick.
Gotcha.
So, but
I mean, everyone's got their different way of doing it.
yeah, or I just take a bath,
Yeah.
and I've been doing that. I do that a lot, but. Yeah, it's one of those things of, and then, like, I don't know, we'll get into it when we talk about it, because it's getting late, and we all gotta work tomorrow. So, well, later on today.
You check Do we have any viewers in the audience?
I don't know. I'll have to go to the YouTube channel because of the fact that
It doesn't show you.
no. Oh, yeah, we have viewers. We apparently have 1 or 2 viewers watching.
No. Any comments?
I don't know.
Well, no, not like you. Like we have live viewers, right?
Yeah,
Can you like?
they
You can't see the chat replay.
I can see the chat replay. There's no chat at all.
There's no chat. Okay, well then.
They're probably just
Yeah,
having it
from
on in the
Williams.
background or something.
Yeah. Hey, chat! I'm calling on you. Where there's a pop quiz.
Right.
What were we talking about?
Right. We'll do one of those things of, hey, we're gonna, if, you know what, fuck it, we ain't gonna do if. We're gonna just, you know what, we'll just do it.
Okay.
Well, during the month of Ramadan, we're gonna do story time, everybody.
Yay!
And we'll get to have Ellendale read the the
Words from the
Quran.
Quran.
Yeah, and then I'll figure out something for the Wiccan side. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure this isn't stories. It's just about what's what with Wicca. And by the way, this is not your typical Bible because if I remember correctly, this thing actually cusses in it.
So that's fine.
Yeah. So.
Oh, Christmas!
Right. So.
My delicate bride.
Right. But. Yeah, it talks about like different things, like it doesn't necessarily tell stories, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It just touches base on certain aspects of Wicca and
Mm-hmm.
like the different.
Yeah, sure.
So. And then it talks about life, death, and rebirth, and reincarnation, and
Yay.
and spiral transformations, and all that happy stuff.
Happy.
Yeah, but I will say when we get to that point, I am not going to go past the magic chapter because that's got spell. Well, actually no, it's not magic stuff. Rituals and ceremonies, I think that's what it is. Yeah. No, hold on. Some of them have actual spells in it, so when we get to those parts of it, we'll just gladly skip over those.
Whatever.
That way, nobody thinks they're gonna try and put a curse on them, or you know how some people are.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I remember because there was a couple of times when I was listening to Norse music when I was talking about Ali and Mormon them, and because it's in Norse language, Ali sat there was like Angel over here trying to fucking put curses on people. I'm like, what? Like it's just Norse
what are you
music.
talking about?
It's in Norse language. Like the fuck. But yeah, no.
It's chanting.
Yeah, that's what she said. She's like, it's chanting. They're doing kind of. I was like, no, it's Norse. Beat the fuck. But yeah, I was like, it's just Norse language. They're not chanting anything. It's just they're singing in Norse, like. But yeah, we'll go about doing it to where we don't have to worry about people thinking they're getting cursed or some shit from watching. I guess.
Just put it in the description down below.
Right. Yeah, I'll put it in the description down below. And then figure something out. But yeah.
1 second. I'm actually gonna go right now. We are live. I'm looking at the
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been live for a while.
Oh gosh.
We've been live for like 3 hours apparently.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there are any comments, but apparently not.
No, it probably won't be any comment. There probably won't be any actual comments underneath until after it posts.
Yeah.
So.
Do we have actually viewers? I'm not seeing. Oh, there. Wait, what?
It says watching now.
How many? One watching now. I see it.
Yeah.
I think someone just posted. You see that?
See what?
A live chat?
Yeah. I can see live chat. But granted, if somebody posted anything, I probably couldn't see it because it fucking wants to be an idiot and not show. But this is why I need to. I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's probably something going on.
I'm seeing a comment, but
What's the comment?
do you really want me to read it out loud?
Yeah.
That N-word, like a butt-naked unicorn with a Nike jacket and a toothache.
Huh? Who said that?
Apparently it's Gnarly said that.
Well, that's why we're gonna have to start getting mods for that, huh?
I don't think we're big enough that we're gonna need mods.
No, but we're gonna need somebody that's gonna be able to pay attention to comments.
Maybe.
Cause
Like, I looked at some of our old videos.
anyway, we're gonna end this one first before we start looking at everything else.
Yeah.
That way, we'll. But we're gonna go ahead and do that. The month of Ramadan, which is what, beginning of next month?
No, it's in a few days actually.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll be like, it's gonna be either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how we see the moon. If we see the new moon, then we'll go with one or the other of those 2 days.
Well, you'll have to remind me because
Sure.
that way we can start doing that, and we'll probably do it a nightly thing.
Yeah.
For a month.
For a month.
And see
I
what's
need
gonna
to
happen.
finish it up. I mean, if we really want to finish it up, then I'm gonna need to be doing a lot of reading per day.
Yep.
But if you're okay with me sitting and just reading for I don't know how long, then
I mean, I'm okay with it, but we'll have to just post it.
we'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll work it out. We'll figure something out. And I know on Wednesdays and Thursdays, me and Mars both have off from work, so
Yeah, ask him if he's down.
I will tomorrow when
sure.
he wakes up. Or
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, because he's probably passed the fuck out right now.
I think he passed out 3 hours ago.
Yeah, he passed out like before we even started. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so and then I know.
I hope Bark and all of them go back and listen to these videos, because then I don't need to explain myself again.
Yeah, well,
Because
I
I've done all
don't know.
these.
I doubt they do that because
I doubt, yeah.
we always have the thing of what are we doing now?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then Ben will pop in and be like,
like
Ellendale.
Andale.
With the daddy. It's like fuck.
It's like, come on, man, keep it in your pants, bro. Jeez.
Right. So, but yeah, we'll figure something out. I'll let them know and we'll tell them, or I'll tell them in the Discord or something.
Just
about it.
send out a big border message.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to read or whoever wants to be participating in this, please join now. Sign the waiver.
By the way, do not
RSVP.
Yeah, and be like, by the way, we are not talking about doing the daddy whatever thing, because this is gonna be story time.
We're talking about very holy things. We're not going to besmirch. This is why I'm saying we should move it to a private channel initially. So all the people who want to sign up, tell them what time we're going to try and do it.
Roll or something and tell
Right, and we'll go into like a private chat so no random people can just join,
Right.
and then we'll have like a very closed session. And like I said, questions. You just stop me. I can translate specific things. I have the translations here in front of me, of course, on the app. So
Yeah, I'm pretty
If
sure it
you-
would probably be better to start off with the translations, because if we're doing story time and we're trying to understand this,
yeah, no, I get it. But, like, there's certain portions of the Quran, like, and it's within different chapters and stuff where it's like, let me see. Like the first verse of this next chapter is ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. Like that's it's basically it's just saying that this is the book that is for guidance for the people, you know. It's not like part of a story necessarily yet, but it is important information. But if we're talking about like stories, then we're not reaching, you know, that's not part of any story per se.
right.
Well,
So, but anyway, we're gonna end the stream.
yep.
We're gonna tell people if they want to comment what about the podcast, not about some random dumb shit like being a troll, because that shit will get immediately erased.
Being a troll.
And then, if they want any ideas for any future podcast discussions, they should comment it below.
Mm-hmm.
And then like and subscribe if they want. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Yeah.
We're gonna lie. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell in real life. What?
No, hit the bell and we'll go to know when we go live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then, afterwards, I guess. We'll,
Like, share
right.
with all your friends.
Right.
We should be your only source of information right here.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. 'Cause, I mean,
Definitely go and check for yourself and make sure that all this information is verified. I do not claim to be any sort of expert on this subject.
yeah, none of us do.
we're just two people bullshitting as much as we can about these things.
Right. It's not just me and you. There's times there's like been like 5 or 6 other fucking people.
Right. This is one of the few times where it's just been me and Angel, and there are at least 3 of us.
Yeah. So, not very often, but well, not very often if it's just 2 people talking. Most of the time it's like numerous.
Right.
And
All right.
have fun, YouTube. Goodbye.